There you two are.
Can I join your cool, groovy gang?
You can. I gotta figure out how I deal with this new feature on Clubhouse here.
What's the feature? The ejector seat?
No. Well, so apparently, you look at the bottom.
Punch-o-matic?
Spring-loaded boxing glove?
Yeah.
A pie thrower?
Right.
So apparently, the bottom left now is people can technically chat in the middle of the show.
Okay.
You know, and like leave comments and stuff.
Comment section. Oh boy, that's all we need.
Yeah, but exactly. But there's
what's wrong with? Wait a minute. What's
what
wrong
could
with
possibly go wrong?
Yeah. Well, I think there's a way to disable it, but I don't remember. I don't know. I haven't done enough of that to know.
Well, you know, we got Soraya out there. How you doing, Soraya? Good evening to you. Now we say she's in our audience.
Greetings.
Mm-hmm. Yes, okay. Indeed. And,
good evening to you.
I saw something amusing before we came on air. Look, I'm not really planning on talking about this Ukraine-Russia thing, but this threw me. So I saw something on Twitter from the Spectre Index on Twitter where it says, breaking news, Luxembourg to send anti-tank weapons to the Ukraine.
Okay.
And all I keep thinking to myself is, wait, Luxembourg has anti-tank weapons?
They do now.
Apparently they do. Like, how old are they? They've got to be from, 1984 or some shit like that? I mean, they're probably, decrepit. I mean, when you think of places that you're going to invade, is Luxembourg high on the list?
Luxembourg don't need them.
Apparently not. But I mean, that to me was weird because it's of all the places where I'm kind of sitting here going.
Yeah, it's become a driving force for the EU to unite. In a way.
I wasn't thinking about that. I'm just, how do I say? It's the part where I'm sitting here going, when I think of world powers who would be able to give you military equipment, Luxembourg is not the name I come up with right away.
Yeah, Luxembourg in the back. You have your hand up. Yes. What do you like? Yes. What can I help you?
Yeah, seriously.
It's some anti-tank weapons you can have.
Right. You know.
Well, do you got any 40 and 80 millimeter mortars that you have lying around since
80, 81, whatever it takes.
It's one of those where it's if I was going to invade a country, and I thought resistance should be low. Luxembourg is on that list of names, right?
Yeah, it doesn't sound like a heavily fortified nation.
Right, it doesn't sound
Well,
not everything.
The fact that they're actually doing this is.
No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about Luxembourg. Let's stick to Luxembourg. I get what you're going, Ivan, but the point being is, it's Luxembourg. It's kind of like that. Wait, what's the movie where they talk about it's like going to Wisconsin. I got my ass kicked in Wisconsin.
Right.
Wait, what? That kind of thing.
We're not going to Moscow. It's Czechoslovakia. It's like going to Wisconsin.
Right. Oh, is it stripes?
In stripes.
Let's go to Siberia just for kicks.
Yeah, it's not like we're going to China or anything.
Right.
We're going to Luxembourg.
That's right.
I got my ass kicked in Luxembourg. Apparently because they have anti-tank weapons.
Yes. Well,
we can't.
So yeah, it's not like I said. We don't want to focus heavily on that. It's not
really
our job, not our thing.
That's not our. Like I said, I wasn't going to bring it up except for the part where literally I'm reading this and I'm like, Luxembourg.
Yeah. I just the only thing I was going to bring up is that Pornhub blocked all of Russia.
No, that was a false.
Oh, it was fake news.
It was fake news.
Fake news.
You think I wouldn't have put that on this the round table?
Well, I did.
That would have been a right away thing.
Okay, I didn't know that was a fake thing. Okay.
I wanted it to be true. I really did.
Oh my gosh! Well, millions of Russian young men will not be able to do the thing.
Huh. Well,
poor guys.
They got there.
So here's the sad part. Here's what is. So we'll keep this to the one part of the show where we can
get this
kind of talk about what we
off
talk
the top,
about,
and then we
about
can
this.
go. Yeah.
Right, which is. So apparently, the Batman is still scheduled to open in Russia this week.
Okay.
Which seems a little.
Well, not entirely unusual, and I'll tell you why.
Okay, I'll tell you. I'll go the other way, but go ahead.
Well, I'll tell you why. Because I don't know if you've read about the standoff in St. Petersburg. Have you read?
Not really.
Okay, well, I'll lay it on you. There's thousands of people who are right now, as we speak, against the war, and they're making their numbers known in St. Petersburg Square. And it's amazing because because I have a friend who's actually there in the Ukraine, and I've been reading up on his pages. The pictures are nothing that you will ever find in mainstream media. Okay, because it's so graphic. But the point of it is, there was an article in the media over by the, and there were thousands upon thousands of people who came out and says, we don't want to be a part of this war in Russia.
Yeah, there are mass protests.
Right, I understand that. So how does that relate to?
Okay, so I'm thinking
it's okay that Russia has Batman.
I'm not saying that it's okay or that it's not okay. Okay, I'm not saying that at all. Okay, what I'm saying is, if they do indeed want to show Batman in Russia, I just rather that's here nor there on that whole tip, really, to be quite honest with you, because it's opening to up all over the world. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. I would buy that, except for the fact that FIFA, which is the governing body for World Cup soccer, just denied Russia the ability to play.
Well, yeah. Well, there's a lot of people doing that now.
Right, but the point being is, so in your mind, because FIFA says, well, they're not getting soccer, and of course, as amusing as Pornhub would have been to try to deny, millions of, blooming boys the sensibility of knocking one off on Pornhub, which of course is not true, but things like that. Okay, yeah, okay, and we've pretty much cut off a lot of money supply to Russia in multiple ways. So, okay, I guess it's the old squeeze play we're pulling on them. One more thing, the fact that, okay, and no busting on Ukraine, but I know Ukraine is not part of NATO, or NATO might have been more on board with trying to work with their situation over there. Okay,
but
you're taking this a wrong direction, man. All I'm saying is...
Jeff's just making a point that Warner Brothers still wants to get Russian money.
Right.
Well, okay.
My point is, FIFA is one of the most corrupt organizations in the world when it comes to sports and stuff. FIFA is shutting down Russia. My point is that this has got to be a bad look for Warner Brothers. I mean, it just is.
Well, okay, and I guess in business, to a lot of businesses, the only color they see is green. Okay, and they don't care what flag that green comes under, as long as they get their green. It's like with anything else. To Warner Brothers, it's business as usual. I mean, they don't give a fuck where they get their money. They don't give a fuck about nothing.
There's still time for them to renege on this. So
There's still time for them to renege, but it is interesting because right now they haven't, and
But I bet
think they're. It's a bad look for them. It really is. I mean,
well, yeah, it's a terrible look on that. Any American business still doing business with Russia is bullshit.
Well, the point being is we're talking about the American. Again, the biggest thing is we're talking about the American entertainment industry. And if we're talking about the American entertainment industry,
why the fuck is Warner Brothers doing that?
That's the thing. It's a bad perceptual look for Warner Brothers.
Yes, it is.
And so to me, it's like, I'm shocked that this wasn't I mean, I understand it's a big opening for them. I get it. But, it seems
Well, and then
it seems like a really bad idea.
Also, you got to take into account that. All right. So, will the rest of the studios take a lead and say, "Well, we're not going to distribute movies to Russia. We don't want no Russian money."
Well, all eyes are on Warner Brothers this week because of the release of this film. They just had the London premiere last week.
Okay, all right. Well, let's see what they do with that.
See what happens.
Right. I mean, in fairness, Ivan, if there was a major I don't know. I'd have to look and see what else is getting released this week. But if there was a major Disney movie getting released this week, I would have the same scrutiny about Disney as I am about Warner Brothers right now. I would have the same scrutiny I would have about Universal at this moment. So. I mean, that's the part that's going to be interesting.
Okay, because you also got to take into consideration too. Yes, Disney, much to the surprise of the huge appetite that the mouse has everywhere. Has Disney taken a stand against the whole Russian thing yet? Have you heard anything?
Well,
have you heard anything?
No, I haven't. But they're also not releasing product this week in Russia.
Well, no, not in Russia. No, they just leave Turning Red. Pixar calling Pixar's little project content for streaming, but that's another story. Anyway,
they didn't think it was strong enough a release to put it in theaters. I think that was their issue with this one.
Well, and also too, there was some backroom talk about the fact that the people at Pixar are not too happy about this. Fact that, well, look, Disney, we at Pixar, we're making all this content.
Well, that's why Disney bought Pixar.
Yeah.
Because Pixar would be all like, okay, well, we got to do what you say.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Be all like, fuck yeah, you do.
Yeah, well, also, too, you got to take into consideration that, they bought Pixar and everything like that, but that's not going to make the animators any less mad that they go ahead and they bust their ass, on trying to get movies out there to the theaters and everything, and then they're railroaded.
Well, what was the three? Let's say they had they just had that Encanto,
and then
Soul,
what's the one?
And the fish one, the mermaid one.
Luca.
Yeah.
So they've had those three, and the Soul, and the other two, Luca and Encanto.
I will say, I think. Oh, and they had that Raya movie that you had to pay extra for, right? Early on.
Yeah.
But that wasn't Pixar.
No, that was Disney Studios.
That was regular
Disney Studio.
Yeah. Here's the thing, and this is going to be that clash for a while, which is there are so many within that industry that when they make a movie, all they keep thinking about is they want it on that big screen. And so, but meanwhile, it's distinctly possible that more people saw those three movies
on stream than they did
on streaming than they would have on screen. Because
and strategically, that's to their advantage. Okay, because of the current state of how things are right now. And if I had a business, and if that's what I had to do, then so be it. I'll just say, all right, we gotta find a way for the money to roll in without endangering people,
Well, I mean, here's the other thing about that, which is, as Mike said, he's right. The mouse owns Pixar.
Well, yes, it's true.
And the truth is, all those guys, as much as they may be complaining, they're getting paid. Now the question is about back end residuals, but I don't know how that works with Pixar. So I can't answer.
Well, if Pixar is a subsidiary or a partner, there's the words subsidiary.
Well, we don't know the exact relationship between the two.
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
that could be construed into different things. And that's a whole other ball of wax for another day. But but the thing is, having read articles about the whole Turning Red thing, and of course,
I'm going to watch it.
What?
I'm going to watch it.
Oh, I'm going to watch it.
It's on Disney Plus. So
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to see it. Yeah, I'm going to see it. Of course, I saw a great many things.
But it's only going to be on Disney Plus. It's not going to be in theaters, right?
Right. No.
See, I get where some people might get frustrated by that, but I mean, here's the other side of that, which is okay. So you're talking about going to take kids, and again, if it was in theaters, you're talking. It was funny. I was talking to one of the people who I work with. Got 2 small kids. Okay. If they had to go to the theater to go see Turning Red, okay, you're talking 2 kids tickets, 2 adult tickets. Now we're talking about popcorn and
there's $150. You just
it's not $150 bucks.
Yeah,
if you catch a matinee.
If you catch a matinee, okay, let's do a 90.
Yeah, it's not $150 bucks.
Okay,
to send a family
what?
for.
What? I mean, because popcorn and soda and everything is 300% markup, man. So
the point being is by the time you're done, if you're a family of 4, even on a matinee, you're talking what, $60 at least?
Maybe 80.
And I'm being extremely liberal on that number. You're probably right. I mean, it's probably closer to 80.
Yeah,
so, the point.
Yeah, the point is, I'm sorry.
No, but the point is, there are a lot of families, and there are a lot of kids who are going to get an opportunity to see Turning Red that might not have been able to see it
in the theater
if it was in the theater, because the parents might sit there and go, you know what, I don't have $60 to $100 to throw out right now so we can see this Pixar movie.
Yeah.
Also, too, you also have to consider, not incidentals, the gas to get there, all the other stuff that takes to make it all happen. Mm-hmm. Getting there and coming back. So yeah, I'm just too far-fetched in my toss out there. And also, too, the other thing that I've confronted with this was the fact that the aesthetic of this particular Pixar movie, it seems a little more closer to an anime feel, the whole bean mouth situation that has become the animated norm as of late.
That's not the first time I've heard that term to describe this film.
So there's that whole thing where
it's a more Western style animation.
Exactly.
That's become so much more commonplace now.
Right. It's become accepted, especially in the last 20 or so years, since as it used to be called, Japanimation, has touched down here and has made an inroads to so much that it's become part of the artist tapestry now. With so much of this type of East-West, changing of ideas, styles, and things like this.
I mean, let's put this in perspective. I mean, we're talking about in the 2000s, it feels like practically everything that was out in those cartoon blocks, those afternoon cartoon blocks, or those Saturday cartoon blocks, when there were those shows, then those shows still existed. And even on a place like Cartoon Network, when it was initially starting and it was initially out there, a lot of that was that type of animation.
Well, yeah, you had
Yu-Gi-Oh. That's where they were.
You had Yu-Gi-Oh. You had Pokemon. You had Cardmaster. You had. I could go on and on and on. But yeah.
What's the other one with you? What's the other one? The one with Dragon Ball Z.
Right. Inuyasha, Slayers, all the stuff we used to watch, Mike. That type of thing, and so it's become part of the artist architecture here now,
right?
And looking at Turning Red and watching the rushes, I can see all of those influences upon this particular Pixar situation, and I think maybe Disney might have, just on a small scale, might have thought, I don't know, It doesn't look a little like anime. Maybe we should let's see what happens at home before we actually put it out there to the empty seats in a theater. I don't know. That could be the thought process. I could be totally incorrect, but possibly that might be the thought process.
Yeah. So also, though, not just animation style aside, is when you look at that trailer for Turning Red, there are some parallels to Teen Wolf in this situation. That being said, I'm going to watch it because it's on Disney Plus. I'm going to watch it for free from the comfort of my own home.
Yeah, I watched a number of things on Netflix this weekend that caught my attention, but we can hold off on that till later in the show. But unless you're talking, this sort of thing now, but I can always wait on that because was it you, Jeff, that told me about Chicago Party Ant?
No.
Okay, then I've got a review for you about Chicago Party Ant. Okay, one more time. I also, and you're going to laugh. Go ahead and laugh your buns off. You're going to love this. I ended up watching the new My Little Pony because I was curious. Okay? And I've got something to say about that. And then, of course, my upkeep, I kept up with Cuphead, which I can bring that up later. And then my upkeep with Disenchanted. So,
how about Care Bears?
Is there a new Care Bears series?
I don't know.
No, but there is.
Really, Mike? That's where you're going to go to make that?
I don't know. Is there? Are you? I don't know if there was a new one or not. Honestly,
there is a new He-Man coming out though.
Well, there was that one that Kevin Smith made.
No, there's another one.
And there's another one that's it looks like a kid's phone game the way it's animated.
Yeah, well, and then kids phone game. Let's go to Transformer Bot. Have you seen that yet?
Yeah, there was a trailer for this because they've had a trailer that just came out. The thing is that the toy's been gone from the shelves for about a year now.
Right.
But they're just the Transformer bots is like tiny little household items that make tiny robots. They're very simplistic, very small. They come in packs of 5 or something. And it's one erasers, one's like a pencil, and little stuff around the house. But they made a cartoon for it, and the trailer dropped last week. I'm sorry, Evan. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. No, I know the trailer dropped just last week. You're right. And I believe the story premise is they come to life after the toy store closes.
Or if it's in a mall or something, because some of the pieces are food, some of them are household appliances, some of them are bathroom items, even a roll of toilet paper.
Well, shit happens.
Shit happens, and sometimes shit makes a robot. So.
Remember, I don't know if you remember back when I used to goof around with the corkscrew. I don't know if it was a corkscrew or a can opener. And I undid it, and I came up with some kind of comedy about what would you think if they would have turned, a transformer from a can opener, and here it is,
I'm waiting for Transformer the sex toy.
Yeah, they've there's a story about that though. They've
already done that.
They named a combiner inadvertently after a sex toy.
Did they really?
Yeah, because the collector club at the time...
Vibratron.
Well, let me tell a story, Ivan.
Go ahead.
The current collectors club that was running BotCon and running the Hasbro license for their conventions and such, they wanted them to have this set of 5 robots, and they called it Nexus Maximus. And when they Googled they had safe search on Google when they searched, the name of the particular name, and it didn't come up. But turns out the Nexus Maximus was the name of a 2-pronged dildo.
Nice.
So when they came out, everyone was all like, "Oh, we Googled that shit because we're adult males and we got our safe search off." And yeah, that's a dildo name.
Yeah, it's a dildo name.
Nice.
It was a mistake on their part. So yeah, the Bot show, it's fine. I hope the kids like it. It's not for me.
Yeah. Oh, and then I also read up about what's happening on Jellystone and the Hanna-Barbera raid.
Is that still on HBO Max?
I
Yes,
guess
it is.
so. I didn't. You know what?
We watched that one episode, and I was like, man, I didn't go back to it.
No.
All right, and let me tell you, there's a literal mob happening right now. Okay, because I just joined the Hanna-Barbera, Everything Hanna-Barbera page, and okay, let's just, it all goes back to the fandom, it all goes back to the fans where, you got a bunch of guys my age saying, they're
killing my childhood, yes.
They're killing my childhood, and I don't like that they're doing a gender switch, and they're doing this, and I don't want Squiddly Diddly to be a girl, and I'm just like, you fucking people, you don't understand.
Squiddly Diddly's a girl. Triggered.
With a name like Squiddly Diddly, shouldn't she have been a girl in the first place?
I don't know. All I know is...
isn't that kind of what...
That's funny.
Isn't that kind of how that would work? You're Squiddly and you're
I
Diddly.
don't know.
You're Diddly and you're Squiddly. You're Squiddly
Somebody smoked some shit and came up with that idea.
Someone in Ivan's Facebook group should look that up. I'm sure we'll get some answers from Ivan's Vibe Tribe.
I'm sure the Jive Tribe will probably come up with something, but for right now, you should see all the hateful, heinous, fucking boomer busting that's going on over there. A major booming busting happening over on the Hanna-Barbera page. Everybody's hating on Jellystone, and I just sit back and like, people,
that does not surprise me.
Jellystone was not made for you guys. I'm sorry.
And that's
all of these new cartoons are not made for you guys.
No, I agree. I agree with you.
Don't sit there and be fucked up about it. It wasn't made for you.
The only thing, again, we talked about this when it came out. Both Mike and I watched the first.
Yeah, at least
tried to watch it the
first
time.
2 episodes or something.
And I get how kids might find it funny. The only complaint I have about it is, it's just, how do I put this? It makes kids seem dumb.
Yeah, it does.
Well,
it does talk down. Yeah, it does.
Yeah, they dumbed it down.
Yeah.
They dumbed it
not
down.
Just dumbed it down. Just like the humor is such where literally I'm like kind of sitting there and I'm like, kids are smart. Kids are smarter than this.
Yes, they are.
Kids are smarter than this. I feel like you're kind of being condescending. Like, you think it's funny because you think this is what kids are going to laugh at, and it's like.
Well, how many times have we had, adults try to position what they think is fun for kids? Almost
where they've done test marketing. Okay, what do the kids think is funny? What will keep their attention span? What will keep them from picking up their tablet in the middle of the show?
Right.
Here, the parts that I liked about it was I liked the idea of the fact that you're now creating Jellystone as a city, and so you've created the Jellystone universe,
right?
So that you all of these Hanna-Barbera characters can interact with one another, and that makes all the sense in the world. And that's a smart idea, and I like that idea.
Yes, and that's a great idea.
Right, it's a great idea. Because quite frankly, there's some Hanna-Barbera characters that I'll be honest, I didn't watch past the first episode. I couldn't get past. There's 2 shorts in the first episode. I really couldn't get past the first one.
I watched both of them. So first,
did you?
Yeah.
After the first one, I was like. Kids are smart. I really felt bad. I was like, do they really think kids are this dumb?
Yeah.
And
I
that's
got the same vibe too.
Away.
Yeah.
Right. So I guess maybe could be a case of these people that write these stuff. They're just trying way too fucking hard, or they just don't got a pulse on what's happening now with kids for some whatever reason. This is why when you do statistical research. Just like radio, just like everything else. How the fuck do people know what the average kid on Chicago likes if they're researching things from a kitchen in Connecticut at 4:00 in the afternoon. Okay, come on.
It's so funny you say that. So it's so funny you say this. It's a little bit different, but back when I was working broadcast radio, and Ivan will remember this. Remember when they brought in the personal achievement radio format?
Oh, I remember personal achievement radio.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the format originated in LA, and
right.
So the people who were running it were basing everything about what they knew about it from LA. So
right.
The station manager was able to get like to be like the backup home for like Notre Dame football and some of the football games, and which was a great get and a great thing to have happen, and because it was going to bring exposure.
Right.
And I'll never forget. I'm having a conversation with him, and he's like, they're upset with me, and I'm like, why are they upset with you? Well, I'm having Notre Dame football, and I'm having these things on with their sports. And I'm like, well, what would be the problem with that? They said, well, according to their format and their research, sports doesn't go over well. I'm like, well, whose research are they using? Oh, the research from their station in L.A. And I look at them, I go, you mean L.A. where they don't give a rat's ass about sports and all they want to hear about
let alone what the fuck is happening in Chicago.
Wait, here goes. You'll enjoy this. This is the part you'll enjoy. I'm like, let me guess.
Yeah.
They want you to do more entertainment news. He started laughing, and I'm like, they're that clueless, and he's like, "Yep." I'm like, I'm assuming you told them you're still going to do it anyway. Yep. He's like, when they see the numbers, they'll understand. I'm like, I hope so, because what they're telling you is really dumb, because they didn't understand their market segmentation. The only reason I even bring that story up is because what you just said, which is, when you don't know your market segmentation, you do silly, dumb things like this. Like, literally, you're like...
Exactly. That's what I'm trying to explain.
Yeah. Right.
That's exactly.
That's how you get shows like Jellystone.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well...
Okay. And,
then
you also get...
I want to say this about
Go ahead.
The original concept and idea is good. Unfortunately, I don't. And when I say this, although I'm not a fan of the animation, the real issue I had with it was I just felt like it insults kids.
There was the brand of humor they went with.
Yeah,
was,
I just felt like it.
They could have made it smarter. They could have found someone
they could have done so much more with
really
it.
Knew about the characters, and they could have some really clever interactions with some of them.
Yeah, I just really felt like it was lacking in that. Now, in fairness, it's the opening episodes. Maybe I should have gone and looked at some of the other episodes, but it's like, I don't know.
Yeah, but then
judging by what Ivan said about being in this Facebook group, adults are mad about things. So
yeah, but adults were
again.
What else is new?
Yeah.
But then, like I said, all the boomer bashing going on about that whole situation. I'm thinking, people really, you're a 50, 60 fucking year old dude, making a big shit about, a cartoon that is not geared to you anyway. And the fact that you're not going to go to, they're not looking for your dollars, boomer. They're not looking for your money. Okay. They're looking for your nephew's money, your son's money, your daughter's money,
your grandchildren's,
your grandchildren's money. They're looking for that money. They're not looking for your
those
money.
are the eyeballs they want on the screen.
Exactly.
If they are so in love with the old series, you can always go back and watch it. Watch the old stuff.
Yeah, go back to your VHSs, go back to your DVDs, go back to Borders or Kroch and Brentano's or
if you can find one that's open.
Kroch and Brentano's.
Whatever how you get this shit.
That's where you can buy a Nexus Maximus, I think.
Yeah, exactly. but and you know what? I can sit here and boomer bash because I am a boomer. I'm 61 years old. Okay, so people out there, I don't want to put you aback when I use that terminology, but if I'm okay in my own skin, this is just my opinion anyway. But the thing about it too is when you have a situation that happens where the older generation is looking at the younger generation entertainment with disdain and everything like that. But then, gotta consider, that happens in every generation. Okay? Every generation bitches about the next person's generational shit. Oh my gosh, those flapper girls and the it and they're doing the Charleston, and then of course, the swing guys and the girls and doing that rock and roll and that rap music. As the time changes, things change. Everything, sometimes things old are new again. Sometimes old things get created into new things. And that's what's happening here. Because if it wasn't for these efforts, nobody's going to know where the fuck, they're going to get anybody to look at the old cartoons if there's no new content. Nobody's going to know about it. Okay? Sometimes you get these companies that literally, license themselves to a point where they shoot themselves in the foot, keep it out of sight, out of mind, and then it's totally fucking forgotten. So, I hand it to the guys. Maybe we're not crazy about a lot of the new stuff out there, but there are millions of kids who they're going for that are crazy about it, or not so crazy about it, and then they're going to go back to their games. They're going to go back to their video games. They're going to go back to their tablets. They're going to go back to whatever. Anyway, it's their choice. It's the battle. It's the battle for the attention of the younger generation now, and it is a battle. Yeah, it is,
and it's a battle that's harder and harder with the shortening attention spans of today's youth.
Well, yeah, absolutely.
We're different. The kids, us latchkey kids, me and Jeff, us latchkey kids from the 70s and 80s. We had television. That's all we had. We didn't have. Yeah. It wasn't until the late 80s where we had Atari or a Nintendo at home. We didn't have.
Yes, exactly.
We didn't have home computers.
Well, I
mean, here's the thing, and this is the only thing. Yes, attention spans are shorter.
Yeah.
That said, hold on a second. That said, you didn't hear anybody complaining sitting through almost a 3-hour Avengers movie. In terms of that, they weren't willing to sit through it. The point being, and yeah, there were some complaints about the content of how they got to 3 hours, but you didn't hear anybody sitting there going, "Okay, I'm not going to go see it because it's 3 hours long."
Not too. But this is something. When you're talking about Avengers, or when you're talking about something that is over the top, something that is a feature.
Well, Avengers Endgame was an event.
Exactly.
Right. Well, yeah. but hold a second. But the point being is that, and that's where I'm trying to get to this with this Mike and Ivan is I keep hearing this. Oh, everybody's attention spans are short. They won't watch things that are of some lengths or this long. Yes, they will. They will if it's good.
Well, maybe
they will if it's good, and they will if they like it. And
I think that's more prone to the differentiation of what you're going to watch in the theater. Because when you go to the theater, it's like Mike said, it's an event. You're going to the theater. So now, does this apply to what we watch on television or what we stream at home?
I'll take it a step further than what it applies to television. So look, you guys know I do coaching for people doing storytelling, and I do stories and stuff. Microsoft came out with a study back. I want to say mid 2010s that said you have 8 seconds to make an impression. Okay, 8. And the thing is, for example, it's content. I coach people for the World Championship of Public Speaking and compete in the International Speech Contest, and people will come to me because they want to hear what I think. And I'm telling you right now, Ivan, within the first 30 seconds, I can tell you whether or not I'm going to stop listening. I can tell you. Well, I know within the first 30 seconds. Usually, I'm like, and sometimes I'm nice, and I'll be like, okay, let's see where this is going. I'll give it a minute. I'll give it a minute and a half. I'll be nice. But the truth is, usually within the first 30 seconds, I can already tell if something's like, no, that ain't going to work. This isn't going to work. I'm already bored. You already lost me. I'm gone. I'm not interested. it's funny because, like, there have been a couple times where it's like, am I allowed? I said to a couple of them, I'm like, am I allowed to stop you when I need to stop you? And they're like, oh yeah. 20 seconds in, I'm like, stop. And everybody in the room's like, what? I'm like, stop. And he's like, what do you mean? I'm like, stop. He's like, I haven't said anything. I'm like, you said enough. I'm bored. And it was funny because they all got mad at me, and I probably should have had a little better bedside manner about it. But the point being is as I told you, you got 8 seconds to make an impression. You better, you if you're gonna do something, you better get to where you're getting to, and you better get to the point, and you better be clear. Well, I got news for you. There's a lot of people who don't know how to do that very well, and so as a result, people are like, hey, you better get there or I'm gone. I got other shit to do.
Well, and okay, it's just okay, and I'll even take the step out of that. It's just like I'll sit there, I'll drop a needle on a record. If it don't grab me in the first 10, 15 seconds, next record.
Right, exactly. I mean, how many times? I mean, that goes right along with it, which is literally, it's like, here's this hot new hit. Nah, not really.
Not so much.
I don't like that. Not so much. Not a fan.
Not so much. And I'm sorry, people get pissed off at me, when they bring when they get to bring the records. Oh man, this is a great record. Oh, this is the end all be all. I drop the needle on it. If it doesn't grab me by the balls, I'm done.
I will admit, this is where the slow, the burn, the high burn sometimes of top 40 can have its advantages, which is, the first time you hear a song, you're like, I don't know. Then you hear it a couple more times, like, no. Then something
but see, but that's called the homogenizing effect, okay? Right. And what that is through the repetition. Mm-hmm. They sit there and they infiltrate the situation. Okay, it's just okay. Now wait a minute. Here's another good example. Okay, mm-hmm. Jingles, commercials.
Yeah,
reach out and touch somewhat. Right away.
Well, that makes it memorable, but that's partially what goes on in radio. What used to go on in radio is that you had to have that hook. You needed to grab that.
Yep.
That you song. Need the hook to bring you back.
Yeah. Or the DJ is not going to play it for you.
Well, and that's storytelling in a nutshell as well too, which is you better have something that's gonna
grab the audience.
I'm competing Friday night. Okay, I have my first opening here. I could do it for 2 seconds, so you guys get an idea. Okay, which is I start off with. So I'm at this birthday party for my friend's kid, and I feel a tug at my leg. And there's this little kid there. Excuse me, mister. Why are you so fat? His father, who's sitting right behind him, says absolutely nothing. So I bend over. I look the kid straight in the eye. I eat small children.
Yep, and you gave that kid 20 years of therapy after that.
Well, the point is
that's the hook. That's how you grab.
But that's the hook to bring you back, right? And I know that I'm gonna get, for the most part, I've practiced it enough. I've done that line enough.
It's I have my hands. You guys know I have my spotted hands, and I've had children over the years ask me, "Hey, mister, what's wrong with your hands?" And I just tell them, it says, I actually change into another animal at night. And they're
right.
Like,
I mean, but, right. Exactly. But the point being is, I'm sitting there and I'm not exactly spectacular in those first 8 seconds, but I know I'm going somewhere where I'm going to hit a punchline and people are going to laugh really, really hard, and I'm going to get the crowd, and I'll be just fine. The problem is often, people don't understand that you either better have a joke, or you better get to the point really, really fast, or chances are, I mean,
you're going to lose them. You've lost them.
I mean, let's put this in perspective, okay? How many times have we watched a television show? Well, there's a new TV show. We've tried it, and we literally are like, yeah, no,
several times.
No, thanks.
That's how I like to try the 3 strikes and you're out. Now, I've just read spoilers about the finale to 1883. I'm like, okay, that's interesting. But I'm not sure if I want to go back to it though.
Yeah, in other words, are you invested in that now since you've read that?
No.
Okay, see.
But see, I watched the first episode. I'm like, I know I get the vibe for the show. It's brutal. It's visceral. It's life. It's realistic life in the late 19th century, and it's medicine was not the
medicine was not
hygiene was not high on a lot of people's lists, and it was certainly a different life. But I was like, I'm like, it's not for me.
Yeah, well, I mean,
but that you get the first episode, if it doesn't grab you, then you know what you're looking for. So.
See, it's just like when I DJ. Okay, the first record is the most important key. That first record is the thing that opens up the floor.
Right, okay? But you also know your audience. You're not about to go play Louie.
Yeah, you don't. You're not
in the middle of a funeral,
Right, yeah, exactly. But see, knowledge is power in that respect. Just like when you've studied that situation, as being a presenter, and Mike, you've studied. You being in the theater arts and everything, and the radio.
I'm in the theater arts. I had 2 years of theater in high school.
Well, you know what? It still counts. I did summer stock. It still counts. So
Summer stock.
Oh, I can think of that.
Summer stock. I did. I was
Howard Stern. Yeah.
I was in Man of La Mancha when I was 16. I was in Man of La Mancha. In theater on the lake, summer stock. I was in there.
Russ. She was in. She's been in the theater too. What were you? Oh, I was in summer stock. What did you do? I swallowed a 12-inch kielbasa.
You don't have to kneel down every time you swallow the kielbasa. Okay.
Did they do that in summer stock, Russ?
Yeah. That's from Howard Stern. Yeah. Anyway, so how are you doing, Jeff?
How he never did a sequel to that movie is beyond me.
Then he divorced his wife, actually, right after the...
Right, so. That's true, but literally, it's like, by now, it's like, all right, fine. You did get a second wife. You could literally do another movie, and it would be great.
Well, maybe.
But I guess some people know where enough is enough. Not everything needs a sequel. Not everything needs
it doesn't need a reboot or a prequel or a sequel
because you know what? We're living in a society now where reboot is a buzzword now. It's like there's so much rebooting.
Look, you know why? You know why right now reboot and restart are big things right now, which is you have so many places right now fighting for your entertainment dollar. Okay?
Right.
And between the networks and streamers and on demand and YouTube and TikTok and all this stuff. Is it any shock that, why wouldn't you want to go back to some pieces that you could maybe you could rewind or reuse or
relate
especially stuff where you made lots of money with it,
or some beloved franchise that's been neglected for a few decades. Say like they're finally making a sequel to Beetlejuice.
Are they really?
Apparently,
yes, they are. I read that. Yes.
Yeah. Apparently, Tim Burton, Winona Ryder, and Michael Keaton are all on board.
Okay.
Now, see, I love Beetlejuice. Now, that's going to be interesting what they do with it. It's just like, okay, it's just like what's
that's why you hear about reboots and sequels and prequels.
Right.
And
well.
Okay. On
people tend to gravitate towards the familiar.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. Penny Proud. Here's another one. Okay.
Oh, the Proud Family. Yeah, I saw that's coming back to Disney Plus. Yeah.
And
no, it's back. I think it's back now.
Okay.
Okay, but here's the kicker though, because I just read this just before I came on the air tonight.
There's a kicker?
There is a kicker.
Okay. Does he play for the Bears? Because the Bears don't really have a good kicker.
No, the Bears don't do shit, but what are you going to do? But anyway, all I know is, as far as Penny Proud is concerned, the creators, okay, get this, guys. The creators have been getting death threats.
Yeah, I saw
because of the theme song. They don't want the theme song, Solange, Destiny's Child, and all that shit. Excuse me, people. There's a wonderful 29-year-old R&B singer who grew up on Penny Proud and just had her dream come true to actually do the new theme for the Proud family. Okay, a lot of people are are saying, well, you can't change the theme song because it's sacred.
Back to the Jellystone Facebook group that you
to the Jellystone
was not a good decision to join.
Yeah, I think I'm back on that one.
Yeah, it goes back to that. It's just people, they when you change the familiar,
But they want things to stay the same forever.
But replacing the same thing year after year after year, it's not going to make money.
No, it's not.
The problem is I don't know enough. I mean, for all we know, she basically just did an updated version of the same thing. Again, I didn't watch it, so I don't know what the new one is versus.
Well, I've watched the rushes, and yeah, basically they're going back to where it left off. Okay.
No, I don't mean that way. I mean about the theme song. I mean like.
The theme song. Yes.
I remember when The Simpsons. When the Simpsons movie happened, and I know this is a way weird example, but Green Day did the Simpsons theme. Nobody was bitching about that.
Right.
Maybe
Nobody
because it was Green Day, but
because it's Green Day. Yeah.
You know.
But I guess you got here you go. You got the fans who, okay, it's great the way it is. Don't fuck with it, and that's all we want to see. Well, unfortunately, again, not your dollars they're looking for. And also,
that's an interesting question with something like that.
Okay,
and that's the one thing that I think that's the one thing. That's the one part that's interesting, and it's something to be considered. Now again, partially you're correct, Ivan. You are partially correct on this. As a matter of fact, for the most part, you're correct. Here's the one place where I would say they might have a point. It's the only place, which is I'm a parent. I grew up on the Proud family. Now there's a new Proud family that I want to share with my kid so we can have a shared experience. Okay.
Okay. All right. I can take you one step closer. Being a parent myself. Okay.
Right. Or even on TV.
Well, okay, and and would I have my daughter? Okay, well, she's not going to watch it now. She's 20, could be 23. Right. But I'm saying if my daughter was that age, and would I watch this Proud Family series? Okay, with its, some of its changes are subtle, like some of the voice actors. Of course, they're older now, and then of course they got Lizzo to sign on. They got a number of other people to sign on. And then there are certain things that they took on board. Okay, one of the premises is the gay couple, which is featured now prominently on the Proud Family. Here you got a black man going out with a white husband, and, they're actually kissing on the show, which I'm sure has raised its fair share of eyebrows. And, oh my God, now, and I can see, and I can see some parents actually, holding their heads down and saying, oh shit, they're trying to push, the gay card down on us now.
Some.
Too. What?
For some, sure. For others, it's,
For others, not so much, but I'm just saying, that's out there, okay? And I know, being a person of all inclusiveness and everything, I mean, in a way that is both intelligent and clever and written well, but to go ahead and just do it as a matter purposefully, just so that way you can say, check, We did it. That's something that one has to think about. Okay? But at the same time now, we have a situation where, a lot of new programming is going to start featuring this prominently in some of their episodes. Okay, like I can segue into this next thing when I watched Chicago Party Act. Okay, which is on Netflix currently. Which, good, funny, but like I said, not for the kids. It's animated, but because the language is racy. There's smoking, there's drinking, there's partying, there's connotations. Everything is out in the open. But then you got to consider it's based in Chicago. Now, to those of us in Chicago, we would probably get most of these references and places that they talk about in this cartoon. Take the car out for a drive, guys. Just do one episode, of Chicago Party Act. Come back to me on Monday and let me know what you think. But
well, we've been given homework by Ivan.
And
I'll be honest, I don't know if I'm going to get to it this weekend, but I'll see what I can do.
But like I said, or when you get to it, okay, yes, I found that the fact that they had done this cartoon, and then they referenced places like Gibson's and Wrigley Field and Wrigleyville and everything that's happening. You got the
so they name drop a lot of neighborhoods and local
they name drop a lot of neighborhoods, a lot of places. Okay, the protagonist in the story, basically has been in bed with everybody. And, there's one episode where, she's cooking and she's in a shirt and panties and she's by the kitchen stove and everything. And Wayne Gretzky comes out of the bedroom and kind of, see you later, Toots, just walks off, into the distance. You're just like, this is where we're going with this.
Did she get him for high sticking?
You know what,
Was
Jeff?
there time spent in the penalty box?
Yeah.
See, you guys got it right away. See, that's what I'm saying. It's that type of really adult comedy, and for me, if I want a raunchy comedy well done, I guess I could go to Chicago Party End, and that was one of the things I saw on Netflix this week, and I was, I found it very funny. I found it very amusing, to people who are, it's very Jive Vibe Tribe. So that's pretty much where I can put it. And then what was the other thing? And then catching up with, Cuphead, which, Cuphead still amazes me. Still very Fleischer-esque. There's a word for you. And Disney-esque. There's another word for you. And it's still enchants. It's still, it's still very funny, haha, but then the kids can get into it too. It's got the big colors and everything. Although I'm a little disturbed with the disclaimer of flashing lights and everything because of some of the scenes, which, okay, granted, yeah, some of it does get kind of, it just gets kind of out there. You have to be careful with it if you have sensory issues. But aside from that, it rolls along. It rolls and tumbles like a good 1930s cartoon, but with modern flourishes to keep the modern mind occupied and such, so. And, I've been doing a lot of Netflix this weekend. And, also, when we get to the movies later on, I'll bring up about, MLP and I'll give my review on that. So Jeff, how are you this week? What did you do this week?
So it's funny. I have been watching something on Netflix, but it has not been what you've been watching. I started Ozark, which is 4 seasons. So I've been watching Ozark quite a bit, and I'm in the early part of season 2. It's Laura Linney, it's Jason Bateman, really really solid drama. The basics of it is this guy basically launders money for the cartel, and his partner pretty much screwed him over skimming from the cartel. And the only way that he can, so before they can kill him, he comes up with this crazy idea that he thinks he can launder a whole bunch of their money in the Ozarks, even though he was living in Chicago. So he has to move to the Ozarks, and let's just say it goes from there.
Are you gonna watch Valhalla? They just dropped that.
I haven't. No, I don't know. I haven't gotten that far, but I'm really, like I said, I've always liked Jason Bateman. He's good in just about anything he does, but this might be his best work.
Okay.
This might be his best work that I've seen him do.
I'll have to take a look at that.
It's a solid. I'll tell you now, it's definitely on the dark side of things.
Which is fine with me.
Mike will not like it. It gets gruesome at points.
Yeah.
Bloody. It will get gruesome.
I hide under my couch.
Because you are talking about, I think I could say this. At one point, it turns into, it literally has gotten to the point now where, like, he's now kind of playing this balancing act between local poppy growers, the cartel, heroin too, the cartel, and the mob.
Oh, shit.
Right. Like I said, it's just,
yeah.
I'm sorry. And local politicians.
Oh, great. Sounds like Chicago.
Like I said, it's one of those where it's like this guy, it's like, okay, I'd have understood that by now, but that's
on the razor's edge.
Let's see. I did catch the next two episodes. So the marvelous Mrs. Maisel is the new season, which is season 4. Was started last week, and they're releasing 8 episodes. They're releasing them 2 per week. And
Ivan,
are you okay? Oh no!
He opened Finished J. Whoopi's closet, I think.
Yes.
Yeah, I sure did.
There's that Valhalla noise.
It's the Gong Show, maybe.
Yeah, seriously. Well, we did say they only have 8 seconds to pay attention to shit, but so there you go.
Helps keep the audience's attention.
Yeah, seriously.
Woke them up anyway.
So the first, there we go. See?
It's just.
I really still enjoy the characters, but I feel like these 3 episodes we're not moving the plot a little bit. I'm enjoying them, but I do feel like that we're not moving the central plot. I do realize there's 4 more episodes. It just, they're only, how can I say, there's only 8 episodes in this season. They've announced that I think they're only doing 8 episodes for the final season in season 5. I'll be a little bit disappointed if really all season 4 is one gigantic setup for season 5, if you understand what I mean.
A lingering season?
Well, like where it's like a bunch of character development and a bunch of setup and all that kind of stuff. Where it's like, no, I feel like they've done a good enough job, and I'll cut them some slack because you've got 3 really, really good seasons. And they were very, very good. But I'll cut them some slack on it to see where it goes. I'll still watch it, but I am a little bit... I was really... How do I put this? It's one of those shows where I was really excited and looking forward to sitting down and watching it when it came back. And now I'm kind of like sitting here and I'm going, It's...
Jeez, Ivan.
Ivan's going for that every 8 seconds rule.
Yeah.
What's he making?
Fury's got I picture him with a pot on his head.
Yeah, seriously, you're making coffee. Are you making like cookies and donuts too while you're having the coffee or some shit?
No. I'm in the actual storage room of the apartment here. It's kind of like my ad hoc studio until the studio's built.
This This is where Ivan smokes his weed. That's where it is.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, got it.
But anyway,
But yeah, so yeah, those have been. Now I will say, so NBC has a new network show. It's ironically on while we record on Monday nights, and it's called Endgame, and it stars Mike. What's the name of the girl in the Deadpool movies?
Who played Vanessa?
Yeah.
I don't know the actress's name.
Okay. She's the lead on this.
Okay. All right. She's cute.
Oh no, she's absolutely smoking in this too.
Yeah, she's smoking. Yeah.
It's one of those, every so often NBC tries to do some sort of more spy action-y thriller kind of show around this time, and they try to get one that'll hit, and it doesn't work. I think this is the one that finally hits. I'm intrigued. I'm interested. I'm connected. I'll watch it. There's enough mystery, but they've done enough for me to sit there and go, all right, I'm curious where this is all headed and where this is going to go.
Yeah.
Like I said, you could probably find it on demand. It's called Endgame. It's on your regular NBC. But I liked the first episode. I was enough intrigued that, it's like, okay, I'm going to DVR it and I'm going to record it and pick it up. The only other thing this week, and Mike, I think you already saw it. You saw Free Guy, right?
No, I have not. I know it dropped last week on Disney Plus, but I've not got around to it yet.
So here's the interesting part. Apparently, Free Guy is also available on HBO Max right now.
That's weird.
Supposedly. Yeah, that's what I said. I thought that was strange, too. I was a little surprised. But apparently it's available on both. Supposedly, so I was told.
Here, let me look.
So, while he goes ahead and look real quick.
There it is. Yeah, the movies. Yep, it's right there on HBO Max.
Gotta tell you.
Interesting.
So I'm going to say it. This is the best movie I've seen Ryan Reynolds in a long time.
What?
And that includes Deadpool.
What? Better than Deadpool?
Yes. Oh, yeah. This is a much better movie than Deadpool. This is a much better movie than Deadpool.
Okay.
I really enjoyed the heck out of this. I'm going 4.5 out of 5 yeah-mans.
Really?
Wow.
I really enjoyed it. Now, I will tell you, my expectations were low.
Yeah.
It is a popcorn movie, but, I am not a big fan of first-person shooters. I'm not a fan of these movies where they do movies about about
video games and such like
about video games. I liked this. It was really good. The plot was good. I was interested. It's not. Yeah, you get the usual Ryan Reynolds, but you got a lot more than that. But they do enough to make me interested in the rest of the plot. They give me enough to be interested in the kind of first-person shooter stuff. I mean, there's a few things where I have to suspend some belief on some things about how things go viral. But I gotta tell you, I really enjoyed this movie. I enjoyed it a lot. It's funny. You and I were going back and forth about Ghostbusters Afterlife, and I said to you, and last week you were like, well, it's a popcorn movie, and I'm like, yeah. Sometimes, though, there's better popcorn movies. This is an example of a better popcorn movie. Had this not come out during the pandemic, this would have been a big. And I know they're already greenlighting a second one that's been mentioned, but this was really, really good. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it immensely. It was a lot of fun, and seriously, I mean, maybe I'm going too far saying it's his best role in a long time, but I feel like it's the best thing I've seen him in since Family.
Wow, that's huge.
I really do. And that, by the way, that doesn't necessarily mean that I'm sure there'll be some people who will disagree with me when I say that.
Well, but everybody's entitled to theirs, right?
Right. No, and there are, and I'm sure there'll be some people going, no way, he was much better in Deadpool. Okay, I can give you that. There are certain ways that I can see where people are coming from with that. But given some, I saw better characterization. I saw Ryan Reynolds do more with the character, and I saw him do a lot more than the usual Ryan Reynolds shit and shtick. And so, like I said, 4 out of 5 yeah-mans. And it's funny, originally I was going to go 4. You know what? I scratched that. I will go back to 4. But 4 out of 5 yeah-mans. It was entertaining. I wasn't really bored for 2 hours. This would have been a.
Well, keep your 4 out of 5, man. Don't take it back. Shit,
no, it was 4.5. I'll put it to 4. There's always something that might be a little bit better. But again, I was pleasantly surprised. And again, maybe it's because I came in with low expectations, but no, this movie would have been good enough to make in the pre-COVID world. I now understand why people thought this movie, why Disney was pushing this movie like it was going to be a big movie for them. I now get it. It should have been. It should have been a huge movie for them. It will do very, very well on Disney Plus, and it will get a lot of good buzz.
I'll probably get a lot of sales, in the in the streaming and for maybe aftermarket, DVD if that's even something you can.
Well, again,
I've stopped buying DVDs.
Yeah,
well, I'm just saying there are still people that still like physical media, I'm sure, but I'm just saying.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like I said, so I mean, those would be, those would be the big things this past week in terms of what I caught. The only other thing would be, I do a room on Wednesday mornings. The public speaking versus storytelling rooms, and those have gone really, really well. They, we're getting in, we're talking about different topics, and we approach things from different perspectives. So, and that happens in this particular club, which is the Dynamite Club. So, if people hear this or check this out, 9:30 Central Time on Wednesday mornings, you just come here on Clubhouse, and you can ask questions, and you can be a part of the show. So, with that, that's what I got. What do you got, Mike?
I had my training this week, so I've been busy. So, and I had to work this weekend, so I've been not had a lot of free time this weekend. Actually, no, I have not watched anything. I've just heard about Free Guy. I'm like, okay, I'll catch it later. And like I said, I'm working. Just been. No, I'm sorry. I got nothing this week. I did, I did catch a bit of the finale of the season 1 finale. I presume there's going to be a season 2 of 1883, and
I believe so.
And spoilers, they have I don't know if I would drop the spoiler, but there was because it just dropped last week, so I'm not going to drop the big spoiler of the season finale, but. It has that Old West vibe to it, and it's pretty brutal.
Does Beth Sutton show up from a time machine and
the Duttons? No, time traveling Duttons from outer space. No, cowboys.
They don't use a train that kind of flies.
No.
Does Michael Burnham show up out of nowhere?
Or does
Christopher
Lloyd show up at all?
No, I'm not watching Discovery now, but I will watch the season 2. I think it drops Thursday, but next week you'll get my thoughts on season 2 premiere of Picard, as well as the Batman movie that's coming out. So,
all right.
But no, I don't have.
As long as we're so Picard's next week, huh?
Drops. The first episode drops Thursday.
Yeah, I'm not.
I'll watch it because that is Q.
I'm not paying for another streaming service right now.
I have Paramount Plus, so.
I know. I'm not doing it. Fuck that shit.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot. The Tommy Lee and Pamela thing was interesting this week.
Okay.
That
Is
I
it
saw.
still going?
Yeah, it's like 8 episodes, and they drop one a week. So
what episode? What are they on this week?
So this week, this week was a really good episode because. So apparently, and I wasn't aware of this. So apparently Penthouse was thinking about running stills of the tape in Penthouse. And so Pam and Tommy go to
go to sue Bob Guccione. And so Bob Guccione is countersuing for freedom of speech. Well, they decide they're going to depose just Pamela Anderson. And the lawyer for Bob Guccione just drags her through the mud. I mean, like, literally tries to make the connection that, like, posing in Playboy equals her being no different than sex work, and you know, really just trying to drag Pamela Anderson down into the mud. And the actress who plays Pamela Anderson does a really good job in this, because it's just, how do I put this? You feel for her, and it's painful. It's painful to watch what's happening to her. And the fact that her lawyers,
you have empathy for the character.
Yeah, and of course her male lawyer is like, you just got to get through it, and it's like, oof. And then it's funny,
why don't you do it, right?
Well, again, keep in mind we're talking about the mid-90s. Things,
right.
You know, things are a little different. Even though things were somewhat progressive, we're still talking the mid-90s.
In the early age of the internet.
It still had a long way to go. Yeah.
Well, not to mention that, you know, you're still talking about, you know, there's mid-90s is right before the somewhat perception change of you know, of adult stars and Playboy models and all that stuff. All of that stuff.
Yeah, well, you know, it was the turnabout time for everybody who was in the industry. You know, be they, you know, on the, you know, your hustlers, your cherries, your Playboys, and then of course the adult.
Well, and again, right,
and all of that, you know.
Right.
So,
I mean, like, for example, like, you know, Janine is in, you know, Blink-182, you know, videos, and is on the cover of Blink-182's album. You know, that wasn't the norm until, you know, we're talking the late we're talking about mid to late 90s. I mean, this was right on the cusp, right before that. So,
right,
you know,
okay.
It wasn't as prevalent. There was still a lot of that, you know, posing in Playboy equals being in a porno being in a porno film. You know, this was before Jenna Jameson became a thing and transcended. You know.
Well, yeah. Then you had the hair bands using these women, you know, that posed in Playboy and everything, you know,
right.
danger, and stuff like that, you know.
Well, I mean, again, here's the thing: a lot of those grunge bands and those bands that were doing that, like the Guns N' Roses and the punk bands and all that stuff, that were the hot bands, were actually using people who were doing more than Pam Anderson later on. But again, this was
Well, they were part of some of them were part of the sex industry.
Right, that's what I mean. Well, the point being is this is right at the tip of that, but
right
at the tip of that. But
I see what you did there.
Just the tip.
That wasn't planned, along with a lot of things that aren't planned. But anyway, but yeah, I thought that they did a really good job with this episode. I thought it was really good. Again, no Tommy Lee singing penis, thank God.
Okay.
You know, they do some flashbacks about some of their history. Again, no Seth. You know, it's funny. These last 2 weeks, no Seth Rogen. I have this feeling he'll be back shortly. But again, Seth Rogen. You know, they seem that they're spending some of their time more on Pam and Tommy's relationship at this point. I didn't really realize that whole Pam and Tommy relationship is like 3 years. That's it.
Yeah.
It's only like 3 years, and it's funny because they had 2 kids out of like the 3 years. So like basically 2 of the years she was pregnant, and then 1 year, no, not so much. And then I guess she had a miscarriage in there too at some point. So but yeah, I mean,
it sounds like something I need to dive into. I guess.
If you can get access to Hulu, it's worth watching. It's worth watching.
All right.
By the way, that might have been my best Black Friday purchase. Was they had there's still there's limited commercials to it, but they had Hulu for 99 cents a month for a year.
Can't beat it.
Right, $12. I was like, done. I'm like
beat
thinking about this. I'm like, what if I don't $12? What am I really losing for $12?
Right.
So, seriously, I was like, that just, But yeah, I again, that's a good. It's a good.
Sounds like a good solid watch.
It's a good solid watch. They do a good job with it. But
all right, cool. That works.
To Mike's point, you're talking about Batman and Batman being out this week. I'll be honest, I don't know that I'm going to get to it before we air. But it is what it is.
Well, I might luck out. And I might get away to see it. If I do, I'll chime in on it on Monday if I get a chance to see it. And it seems like I did my fair share of Netflixing. There you go. There's a word. And this weekend and everything. I already mentioned the previous shows I've watched, and then just so happens because Mike mentioned that he wasn't going to watch the My Little Pony movie, and and this was total curiosity. I was kind of sitting there bored, and I'm just like, let me see what's on Netflix just for case. I watched Cuphead, and I binged on that.
Yes,
and I binged on Disenchanted, and I binged on that. And then I'm just like, let's see what else I can binge on. And then I saw, Batman, in the episode The Killing Joke, which totally fucked my brain.
Yeah, that's the DC animated adaptation.
Yeah, the
of
one based
The Killing
on
Joke.
the Alan Moore book.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
That'll do.
That'll fuck your brain. I'm sorry, it'll fuck your brain. Okay, the fact that
that was on Netflix. I thought those were put on HBO Max, which used to be DC Universe.
Yeah.
No, I saw it. I saw it on Netflix. It's on Netflix.
Weird.
All right. Interesting.
Yeah. So so I was watching this because I hadn't seen it, and
the shit that Joker does, is nasty.
The shit that Joker does to Barbara Gordon, and
Jim Gordon too.
And then the ending is just as twisted as the rest of the fucking movie. You're thinking, okay, if I were Batman and all the events that would have happened, okay, I got the magnetism between Batgirl and Batman, and then this thing happening to Barbara Gordon, and then what Joker does to Barbara Gordon and Commissioner Gordon.
Yeah.
And then at the end, they're laughing and shaking hands. And can I help you? Just stumped me. Totally fucking just, what in the fuck was, I did not see that coming.
Well, it's interesting because I don't think The Killing Joke was ever really supposed to be DC canon in terms of it being part of continuity. It was a graphic novel when it came out. It was a graphic novel when it came out, and it became DC canon afterwards. And there's a part of me where I'm like, I mean, even to this day, it's like this. Between that and the Batman Returns books from Frank Miller.
Right.
This is where Batman, in between that and Year One, which was also Frank Miller, that's where Batman really kind of takes a big left turn about being, I am darkness, I am justice.
Because Batman in this context, there seems, because Batman has an air that is almost inhuman in a way, a void of whatever emotional sensibility because of what he does. All right? I mean, and then the end just kind of culminates as, is Batman as crazy as Joker?
Yeah, that's the two sides of the same coin. That's
is Joker as crazy as Batman? are they just both fucking crazy? You know, and you're just like, what the hell? And then I was just like, wow. And I watched this, and I was just like, and it gave me the feeling that the one Joker movie that was, you know, the one that was just released about a year or two ago, it gave me that feel because it was the whole aesthetic seemed so separate from anything I had ever seen in Batman movies or animated, you know, cartoons, and I'm just like, I like I said, I wasn't ready for it, and it just, wow, it fucked my brain. And then after I did that, I was like, okay, I need something to clean this out of my head. Okay, here's My Little Pony. Okay, let me.
Okay, this makes
you
a
go
lot
from
more
the Killing
sense,
Joke to talking magical horses.
Yeah.
Right, I went from that to talking magical horses. Okay, yes, I needed to. I didn't want to go to bed. I did not want to go to bed with nightmares of just what Joker did in that movie. Shit. So anyway, so I'm like, oh, okay, let me give this. Since Mike isn't going to watch it, let me give this a view and let me give it. And okay, and this is my take on it. Okay, and this is not your old friendship is magic sensibility.
Old being 2010.
Yeah, exactly. So we're talking 12 years ago now.
What they called the G whatever it is, Generation 5 or whatever. So they rebooted the My Little Pony franchise with a new group of characters.
Right,
do they invade Strawberry Shortcake? Is that what happened?
No, they bake her in a pie and put her in the oven at 450. No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm just saying.
Do the Snorks invade? I mean.
No, the Snorks invaded, but of course, Smurfette had a thing with. No, okay, let's not go there. Okay, no, but like I said, I mean, okay, the word that comes to mind is delightful. Okay, I'll give you that.
Can I ask you a question?
What?
Hey, did you smoke a bowl while you were watching this?
No, I'm dry. I'm dry until
really?
Wednesday. Yeah.
Really? To watch the My Little Pony movie, you were sober?
I was sober, yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I wasn't high. Nope.
Somebody get a lie detector test.
I might watch it. I might watch it while I'm high next time. But as far as all the stuff I did this weekend, no, I've been sober the whole weekend. So it's like, yeah. So I'm watching everything. So that's why I'm like, fucking Killing Joke. Okay, and so yeah. So I watched it. The songs for me, they aren't as
songs. Oh no.
The songs that aren't as crafted aren't as catchy as what they were in the television show. Because I have to say, the songs in the television show, they were catchy, and lyrically they were intelligent.
Mm-hmm.
The rest of the songs in My Little Pony came off a bit trite. The story of itself is the same old, good against evil. We gotta go ahead and, we're getting the band back together, so we gotta do this adventure in order for the band to get back together.
Who was the villain in this?
The villain in this, actually, there was no central villain. Okay, in this, there was nothing like.
There's no mustache twirling villain to.
No mustache twirling
when it was on screen.
Yeah, there was no Discord. There was no anything like in the old My Little Pony series. Actually, it was just it was a situation where you had a father and a daughter, and the father would tell the stories of the glory days of what it was like, in Equestria. Okay, and would tell his daughter all these stories that once upon a time that. Pegasi and unicorns and everybody got along. You're just, you're an Earth Pony and Earth Ponies got along with every blah, 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 blah. Time
goes
Mr.
Ed
on.
there?
Huh?
Mr. Ed?
No, wrong talking horse.
Well, anyway, so here, we got this thing. This is how it sets itself up. And then it goes along to find that everything that we've ever, that was ever to be believed about, My Little Pony, basically it was almost like watching the monkey's head. Okay, if you ever watch the monkey's head, the monkey, the band, and usually the movie called Head, basically they kind of cut and disassociated themselves from what the monkeys were all about in the movie Head. Everything that you ever thought about My Little Pony in the series gets kind of tilted in the movie. Okay, and of course, I'm not going to go into the whole, where are the cutie marks? Why are the character designs are this? Why are this and why are that? Okay, I'm not going to go into none of that shit. But all I'm saying is, okay, for the kids, it's a good story. It is.
Ray said he watched it with his daughter, and he said it was okay.
Yeah, and basically yes, for the younger set, yeah, beautiful stuff for the younger set and everything. Void is all of the things that made Friendship is Magic the series that it was. Okay, it's not in this movie. Okay, the fact that this almost seems like a character building situation that might evolve into yet maybe another movie down the line. So you get involved, so you get to see the character builds of the new ponies, okay, the Pegasi, Izzy, and all of the different, all of the new characters. Now the new team of ponies, now you got a Pegasi, you got a unicorn, you got an Earth pony, you got all this and that. There's a different set of ponies altogether, not your 5 ponies like there were in the original set. And the color aesthetic in the animation,
the
CGI
color
animation,
aesthetic,
is not as bright as I have seen in other CGI. In fact, it tends to come off as fuzzy in a way to me. Like
fuzzy. You mean like watered down, or what do you?
Okay, when you look
like
at
fuzzy
it,
was a bear?
No. Fuzzy as a kind of like, okay, there isn't a sharpness to the picture with all the characters. There seems to be a fuzzy feel to it, and it's like the top of a peach.
It's My Little Pony, isn't it supposed to be fuzzy?
Well, yeah, but they're doing it with the CGI because everything was 2D in the series. And they did everything in CGI, which, okay, CGI is an entirely different world now. And, and of course the ponies are different colored. There's lots more boys in the series now, whereas it was basically, My Little Pony was just an all-girl situation with the occasional guy in there. Now there's guys all over the place in this particular movie, and there's a balance out. And, there are some moments where there are some moments in the movie where you do get a little bit of action. You got the man. You got one of the ponies who acts as a sheriff in Marine Bay, which that's the place this story takes place. And okay, the sheriff has got a deputy who wants to be like the sheriff, but he's kind of a never-do-well, kind of a mama's boy. And so what happened, the protagonist of the story is always getting into trouble because she's trying to tell everybody, you know what? We need to be friends with the Pegasi. We need to be friends with this and this and that. By this time, the movie that takes place, everybody is afraid of everybody else. The Earth ponies have no relationship with the Pegasi. The Pegasis have no relationship with the unicorns, and so on and so on and so on. So there's a lot of.
How about the donkeys?
The separation.
Are there donkeys in this one?
No donkeys?
No donkeys. No
Not even like the one from Bachelor Party?
Oh, well, the one at Bachelor Party, well, yeah, I hear he still runs.
So the story was about how they all got along, or they learned to get along.
Well, they did. Well, the movie presents everybody not being friendly with anybody, and then also the fact that the whole Pegasus Fly thing ends up being a big fraud. It just comes. There's so many twists and turns in the story. You have to keep your eyes on it because if you blink, you miss it. But it's great. It's a great kid's story. It's a great thing. It's like I said, it's not your My Little Pony of 2010. Don't expect it to be, but it's entertaining. Nonetheless, the songs there were 4 of them, I think, throughout the entire movie, and were they great? Were they phenomenal? It basically put everything along, pushed the story along, but it really didn't add much to the movie. So it becomes that kind of thing. It becomes more like music filler than music enhanced than movie enhancement, or story enhancement.
What about talent enhancement?
So basically it comes down to,
Where's the donkey?
Hello, donkey. So I would say I would give it 3.5. Yeah, man, just based on that whole thing. I don't want to give away too much.
Well, it's been out for a couple months. It's okay. You can drop spoilers here. It's all right.
Because it feels like you gave it a lot.
Yeah, it seems like you. Well, I'm not going to add too much. I'm not going to talk too much about it. But that was, just started 15 minutes ago, so that's okay.
Well, I didn't give away everything. I mean, there's a lot more to it than what I give. I really was very mute. The thing I'm giving is very muted, so there's a lot more to appreciate from it. So I'll just say I'll leave that to you. Definitely for the kids. Definitely for this one. It's a great family film, just like Sing 2 was a great family film, and all the rest of that. So it's just like it's a good popcorn movie. There you go. Yeah, that's where I'm at with that. Other than that, I'm getting back out there again with Northern Soul Music Keep the Faith page, and I'll be starting to broadcast again with them on the 12th, and then again on the 25th. But as of March, which is at the time we record this and get this out there, I will no longer be doing the only lives I will be doing on Facebook. On Facebook will be the occasional Rivera Random Records, because I'm currently working on trying to get Mixcloud up and running for myself, and doing all my broadcasting from there. And then I'm going back to Twitch exclusively for all of the live gigs I'm going to be doing at Cafe Mustache, which I will be there this Friday from 9 to 2 a.m. That's 21. That's
9 p.m. to 2 a.m.
That's right, 9 p.m. to 2 a.m. That's 2313.
9 a.m. to 2 a.m.
Yeah, 9 a.m. to 2 a.m. Yeah, with 9 a.m. to. Okay, yeah. So 9 p.m. to 2 a.m. 2313 North Milwaukee Avenue in Chicago. Yes, it's a great venue. Half of it's a coffee shop. The other half is an actual bar with a stage. We do wonderful things. Check out the website, Cafe Mustache. Also happening is Logan Arcade back over there twice a month on the 1st and 3rd of the month between 3 p.m. to 8 p.m. The first Sunday of the month is Mundo 80s, all 80s music. The third Sunday of the month is Soulful by the Bowlful, and it's just as the name implies. And so then I'm doing that this month.
Just admit it. 80s Day is really just basically Breakout by Swing Sister on repeat for like 3 hours.
Not so much, but okay. No, I mean, and I will be featuring my late God Brothers collection over the next few months, because I acquired several thousand of his albums, in the last few months, and I'm now starting to bring them here and sort through them. And I have to say, Groove is in the Heart, Cutting Crew, In Deep, a number of really solid type of records have come through. So I'm going to be featuring those prominently in the next few months, of his, bringing his collection out front and center.
Okay.
And I'm excited about that. And let's see, the other thing that I'll be doing will be, and then of course, I'm sorry, I forgot to mention that Logan Arcade is located at 2410 West Fullerton in Chicago. That's right. And, here's a kicker for you.
Another kicker.
Yes, another kicker. That's right. And the kicker in this is that we have just featured now the brand new Rush pinball game. That's right. The band Rush now has a pinball game. And guess what? To play that Rush music is the band called simply Ruff. That's right. We got an animatronic 3-piece band at Logan Arcade that is playing the music of Rush. They're called Ruff. And go to the Logan Arcade website, check it out. There's videos of it. It's fantastic. Dave Devando, who programmed the animatronics for it, did a marvelous job. A shout out to David Devando, who did a wonderful job. And if you get a chance to go to Logan Arcade to check out the music, check out the pinball, and check out Ruff and the new Rush pinball game, check it out. Yes, definitely check it out. And then the last but not least, is Coles, which I'll be there on the 13th from 10 p.m. to 2 a.m.
They should be getting their springwear out soon.
Pardon me?
They should be getting their springwear out soon.
Yes.
Yes, they should be getting their springwear out. Then, of course, also, too, we can't forget that that's daylight savings time.
Don't tell me. That's my Sunday. I got to work, so I got to be up at 5, what will seem like 5 a.m. on a Sunday. That's going to suck.
Sorry about that. Okay, so here. Other than that, I think that's pretty much the whole Canoodle, guys, about how this whole thing came together as far as, what I'm doing for the week and everything. And then I'm building the studio. I'm going to start getting all the equipment and got a new mixer coming in very shortly. I'm excited about that. Getting some new gear in. And, I also got in, do you know who my favorite all-time doo-wop group is, right? Do you know who they are, right? Do you know?
The Nipple Dogs.
No, not Ruff? The Nipple Dogs. No, not Ruff. Come on. You know.
We're going Yankovic.
Captain Geach and the Shrimp Shack Shooters?
Yes.
No. Come on. You know who my favorite doo-wop group is. Come on.
Sha-na-na.
No, not Sha-na-na. Oh my gosh, you guys are terrible. Anyway, Coal Mine Records.
I believe he's missed the point of us. What we're gonna guess.
No. I know exactly what you guys are doing. But anyway,
splits.
Banana splits.
The Florida Men.
Yes.
The Florida Man. We haven't done Florida Man forever. But anyway, that's another story.
That sounds like a personal problem.
They got powder for that, actually. Coal Mine Records.
Will you watch the My Little Pony with him if you powder?
The Coal Mine Records, COLEMINE, the new R&B and soul label that's been putting out some dynamite records, licensed the.
I thought you said they were coal mine, not dynamite.
Coal Mine. Okay.
Right.
So what happened is they leased the master recordings of the great Flamingo's album, Flamingo Serenade. Okay. Flamingo Serenade stands alone in a canon of vocal group music as probably one of the most beautiful crafted doo-wop albums ever to be recorded in 1959. I Only Have Eyes for You is on Odie's playlist everywhere. Okay? So, Coal Mine decided they're going to run a limited release of 400 pink vinyl albums, and then they also ran the powder blue which of course matches the powder blue tuxedos that they wear on the front cover. It's 160 grams of pure beauty. And the kick on this is that it's released in stereo, the original stereo masters.
That's the kicker.
The original stereo presentation. I mean, it's all there. It's fucking beautiful.
I thought Kevin Butler was the kicker.
I got my album, and I haven't even popped it open yet.
What color did you get?
I got the pink one.
Okay.
I got the pink one. My friend Nelson in New York, he ended up getting the blue one. My friend Mike Goldfarb in Florida, he ended up getting one off of Amazon. So I sold and then of course my sister Edie in California, she ended up getting the pink one along with me. Which
I can't remember which one is the one with Matt Dillon.
Well, okay. Well, if you love vocal group doo-wop,
no, seriously, the one with Matt Dillon was good. Where he catches the guy cheating with the cards. Was
that the coal miner's daughter?
No, I think Flamingo Kid. My bad.
Flamingo Kid. Okay.
Run with the ball, boys. Oh my gosh!
No, we were listening. You got the kicker from the coal miner's daughter, and
right with Kevin Butler.
Yeah, and Matt Dillon.
And Matt Dillon.
Right.
And they play cards with My Little Pony and the Florida guy.
See, this is what you get for feeding two men prime rib, okay? Just throw the bones at me here.
No, I'm not into that kinky shit. I'm not throwing you anything.
Oh, well, you want kinky shit. I could help you in that direction.
That's all right. You watch My Little Pony. That's good enough. I got a story for that later on anyway.
I'm sure you do, amongst all your many stories.
No.
Most which are unfit for airing.
I didn't find Florida Man. I did find a story that was very new to the squared S. That will end with. Yeah.
Okay.
Using the square S. Oh, here we go. So if you get a chance, if you love the Flamingos, check out Coal Mine Records. Go online. The album currently is going for $27.95, and it's just a beautifully done album. It looks great. It sounds fabulous. And if you need to upgrade your old beat up copies, you're in for a real treat because they're done with the original stampers, which it's all good. Yeah, man, 5 out of 5.
You know what? The Flamingos needs to be like a punk rock, all female punk rock band. That's who the Flamingos needs to be.
Those are the Flaming Groovies now.
No, it needs to be like the Go-Go's, like the original Go-Go's, like that kind of thing.
Like the original Go-Go's with the Brenda Carlisle.
Yeah,
Go-Go?
that one. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Now you're talking.
Yeah, like all the punk ass shit.
Yeah.
We're the Flamingos, bitches. That kind of thing.
Or you could watch Pink Flamingos with Divine and really be appalled.
I don't know about Paul. You're Ivan. He's Mike, so I don't know about
Did you ever watch Pink Flamingos though with Divine?
Can't say I have.
No.
You want to step into the darker sides of Ivan's brain. Check that movie out. John Waters.
No, that's quite all right. You watch
Pink Flamingos. Pink Flamingos. Yeah. What now?
You watch My Little Pony. That's dark enough.
Well, I was just because I was, trying to get.
Seemed like the opposite of dark, according to Ivan.
Well,
just so bright-colored, magic-talking horses.
Dude, there is a part of me where the fact that a 60-year-old man sitting in his house watching My Little Pony is a little creepy and scary. Sorry, man.
It's no different than.
But look,
it's no different than watching Jellystone.
Well, yeah, or any other cartoon for that matter. I mean. Okay, come on. Don't sit there, Mister. I watched Stanley's Stripperella. Get out of here.
I didn't watch Stripperella. I wanted to watch Stripperella. I never got around to it.
Don't give me that
What
bullshit about
was that on, like, Comedy Central late at night? What channel was that on?
No, you know what it was?
Was it on late on?
It was so that was one of those. So that was right after the Nashville network, and then they called it TNN, and they were trying to rebrand, and then they became Spike.
Remember Spike TV? Okay, yeah.
They became Spike TV, and then that's what became the Paramount Network. And they were trying to, like, rebrand themselves as Spike. They wanted to be, like, for, like, a male audience, and they thought that they would make a nighttime adult cartoon block. That my understanding is there was some really good material, it's just nobody ever saw it. Like, there's the Blade cartoon that's supposedly amazing from that, but I've never seen it. But
I've seen some of the Stripperella, and it was interesting enough, and I think Pamela Anderson actually
she voiced it.
So
Pam Anderson voiced Stripperella. Yes,
right. So and
that was the short period of time too, where in terms of trying to get new audience, and they were trying to build it, even though they had a smaller audience. That was the period of time where they outbid USA Network to bring the WWE over. Okay, because they wanted to be able to use that to springboard and bring more, the male 18 to 49s, to build around to get people to watch the programming.
Get that male demographic in there.
But it didn't. They didn't do a very good job with it, and it didn't work.
I guess what was it? Was it a case of mismanagement that they just got bought out?
Well, no, it's still the entire time that network has been Paramount CBS. It's just they keep changing what it is. Like I said, initially it was the Nashville network.
It was the Nashville network, and they became.
It was the Nashville network, and then they decided that they were going to. They kind of changed that, and then they turned into Spike, and then they got into that whole thing with Spike Lee because it's that's what you're doing is based on my name. It's like no, not really, but they paid him off, and they didn't do a very good job with that, and then. Eventually it became the Paramount Network, and and it was funny because they were.
How's that working? How's that working for them, Paramount?
Well, so it's interesting because they were about to go to an all-movie format, and then Yellowstone basically took over TV. So now they're rethinking their entire strategy and philosophy on what they're going to do with the Paramount about what they're going to do with their cable channel, the Paramount Network, because Yellowstone basically is like the show to watch. So they figure they're like, well, wait a minute, maybe we can rethink this and build around this and rebuild the network around Yellowstone. And it's like,
let's go ahead and let's go ahead and create a network where they start showing endless episodes of Sid and Marty Kroch and old theatrical releases, and let's go ahead and garner what.
Well, again, I don't know what their exact plan was, but again, I don't want to go down this road because we've talked about it before about how Paramount Plus and the Paramount Network really, in reality, the two should be doing more to help each other out. Like, for example, we've talked about some of the Paramount Plus programming that really, they should be rerunning tastes of some of the Paramount Plus programming. So somebody goes, oh, I should, like, for example, okay, Mike said about that Picard is going to be on. Here's a thought. Why wouldn't you run Picard on the regular Paramount Network, the first one, like a 2-hour one to like wet everybody's beak, okay? And
first one's always free.
Right, and basically be like, oh, well, everybody should go and run and go get Paramount Network now. Or, I'm sorry, Paramount Plus.
Well, he did that with, I think, after Yellowstone Season 4 aired, they aired the first episode of 1883.
Right.
The first one or two of them. They aired on Paramount Network, and they said, okay, you want to watch the rest of the season? It's going to be on Paramount Plus.
And the other one, too, that I can't remember the name
Mayor of Kingstown?
Yeah. Oh, God. Cool. If you want to talk about dark and
so yeah, that's what they need to do. I think just put more free content, more content on the free side, just to wet people's whistles so they can get them to gravitate them toward the streaming service.
Well, and the thing is too, there are certain series that they have access to that, you don't have to give them current seasons. You can give them, like season 1 and season 2 of certain things. And there's certain things that you created a brand new content for that has since been defunct. Like, I'm trying to think, there's some shows that they created for when it was CBS All Access where they created brand new content, and those shows are dead. But hey, here's a thought. If they're dead, why not run them on the regular cable channel, and maybe they get some buzz again? Who knows?
Right. Move like if you're going to premiere the new season on your streaming service, put the previous season up for free.
Yeah. Like I said, but we'll see if they think that way or if their thought process is, we're not doing that. So we'll see. It's funny you say that because I remember, like, didn't they make the first episode of Picard initially free on YouTube for the?
Speaking of brand new content, wasn't the Alf property just recently bought out, and now they're looking to make new content for Alf?
I don't know.
Yes, they are.
Oh, okay.
Yes, they are. In fact, if I remember the story right, yes, a company bought out the Alf property, and they're gonna bring out the original television episodes, the broadcast masters of the original episodes. There's a merchandise tie-in that's going to be happening, and then my understanding is that there's going to be actually new Alf footage.
Yeah, we'll see about that. You go to YouTube, you can find this channel called Toy Galaxy. He just posted like about a month ago, like the history of the Alf series.
Here you go. It's Deadline.
Okay.
Deadline has an article from what would be 4 days ago when we were doing this about that Alf distribute. Okay, so its distribution rights are acquired by Shout Factory, which has plans of a new wave of pop culture content tied to the 1980s sitcom. I gotta be honest. Look, I loved this show when I was a kid. The cartoon, but the cartoon sucked.
There were a couple of good episodes from it. I remember watching it as a kid, as a younger person.
As a younger boy.
As a
younger man's clothes.
As a teenager.
Yeah, wore younger man's clothes.
Yes. Some of the episodes were okay, but you're right. I think the charm of the puppet, I think, was better.
Yeah.
But then when you think about it, I mean, like, this is the story of how, like, Alf left his doomed planet, and like I said, the Toy Galaxy channel gets into it more if you want to learn the entire history of the Alf series. But
so my understanding is that Shout Factory not only is going to be doing the episodes and the merchandising and everything else, they're going to bring back the animated cartoon series, the couple of Alf.
I'm sure the episodes are out there either on DVD or something.
So according to this, there was 102 episodes of the live action, 26 episodes of Alf the Animated Series, 21 episodes of animated Alf Tales, plus a TV project, Alf. The library rights include the entertainment and digital distribution in North America. How do I put this? I feel like this happened 20 years too late.
No.
But like I said, we're into this thing now where everything old is new again, and some of them are like Jellystone, where they just recreate it and go for that audience. Maybe here's something for those who love the original series, who are saying, okay, here's a throwback for you,
Right, but.
Maybe
they'll make something worthwhile. Maybe they'll find maybe there's some actor out there that absolutely loves it.
Maybe they'll make an Alf movie, a new Alf movie. Who knows?
Do I really want an Alf movie?
Well,
I don't know.
Well, but Alf's been kind of out of sight, out of mind for several generations.
Right.
So
which is why I don't know if I need an Alf movie.
No.
Well, I don't know. I'm just speaking from what I've read, and I'm just giving you my opinion as to what I think might be a workable.
The future of the Alf franchise.
Yeah, the future of the Alf franchise. It's kind of
I mean, like that again. This goes back to, and again, at least I will give them credit. At least they're trying to do something and they're trying to go a direction. Versus some of these franchises where they're in absolute limbo. And
they're dormant. They're dormant.
Well, but some of them are dormant for reasons.
For legal reasons.
For example, for legal reasons. There's a big mess with Flash Gordon. I know that. Dick Tracy, the problem becomes anytime anybody wants to do anything,
Warren Beatty.
Warren Beatty still has rights. By the way, I don't blame Warren Beatty for that. How can I say, hey, you know what? You're the ones who signed that dumbass contract, and you should have known what you signed, and you should have thought that through. You didn't think it through, and so guess what? If you ever want, in the meantime, Tribune was gonna, Tribune has a property that maybe they could do something with, but it sits dormant and dead, and
it's untouchable.
Right, and they're just not gonna do anything.
Not like Elliot Ness, though.
Okay,
right.
Now here's something for you.
I'm trying to think of something else, like The Shadow. Like I know there was a Shadow movie.
They made a movie, I think, in the early 90s when all the studios were rushing to make a superhero film after Batman in '89. Mm-hmm. They made was it Alec Baldwin?
Yeah.
Who was the Shadow?
Yeah.
And then that was it. We never heard from. They never touched it again.
Just like The Phantom, which is a very popular comic strip.
That was one of the first superhero comics.
Right. And still popular, really popular overseas.
I remember watching that movie. It was Billy Zane was in it. I remember seeing that movie in the theater back in the day.
And it wasn't very good.
No, it was all right. It was rather unexceptional.
Yeah. Right. Well, but there's a perfect example of, there's a bunch of characters, and the only reason I bring this up is there's a bunch of characters where, like, for example, you're talking about Alf, okay? I mean, I'll give you credit that at least they're going to try to do something with the character, but here's a whole bunch of characters that literally, are sitting around.
Well, maybe not begging, but they're languishing in
they're languishing in dormant situations. Good thing in mind. Good sample in mind. Okay, now
I can't remember where Buck Rogers is at this point. If there's something where it's stuck or something, or where it's at, or where the rights are for Buck Rogers these days either. So who knows?
Then you have cases in point. I mean, it happens in movies, happens in TV, happens in music. I just want to bring this up real quick. There was an artist in the 1950s from Chicago. In fact, I got this from the Illinois Rock and Roll Hall of Fame site, and we lost a woman by the name of Joni James. Now you say, who the hell is Joni James? I'll tell you what. Okay, and Joni James, she had 10 top 10 hits in the 1950s, early 1950s. Okay, she got married to Joseph Acquaviva. Okay, Acquaviva took over her career, and in 1960, Acquaviva fell ill, and so Joni James had to take care of him. Okay, 20 years, all right, on the line. Now, you got people who wanted to keep Joni James's music relevant in the world, but Acquaviva put in the contract that if you want to release Joni James's music, who is the most, in his mind, the best singer in the world, $1 million up front. Nobody paid it. Guess what? Acquaviva pretty much deep sixed Joni James's career to the point where
Acquaviva, jerk.
Was basically.
I don't even drink that water.
So
I thought there was an aftershave.
No.
Acquaviva.
No, that's the water, the bottled water.
No, there's an aftershave. Aquavelva. It was Aquavelva?
Aquavelvet.
No, Aquavelva, and then there's the bottled water.
Yeah. So.
Wait, that's Aquafina. Okay, never mind.
Aquaviva is as an aftershave.
Yeah. Anyway, so what happens is that now,
I'm looking at it right here.
Yes, I know. So the thing is that here, she just passed away, 91 years old, and unfortunately, all of her music, again, just like Alf, just like all these things, in limbo due to, litigation and due to, tie-ups and all kinds of paperwork and red tape and all kinds of shit. It kills things, all this paperwork. I mean,
well, but somebody's got to get paid too. I mean, that's the other side.
No, I'm not saying people should get paid. The ending of Jody James's story was one gentleman happened to walk into a store, and I guess what happened was Aquaviva's son ended up running, all of her, her contractual obligations and things like that to her music. And this guy was actually able to license the music finally, $500,000 a piece, but of course. But I guess it was a case of, like you said, Jeff, too much, too late. And now she's gone. She passed away on Sunday. And 91 years old. She ended up staying around a good long time. But if you ever listen to Jody James, yes, one of Chicago's very own, unfortunately, beautifully forgotten artist. But if you have an opportunity, check it out. I mean, I love Jody James myself. I got a lot of her music in my collection. I've been a fan since I was 12 years old. And, but, you talk to the average person, talk about Jody James, you're like, Jody who? Just like
I loved him on the Cubs.
Just like if you talk about Alf to the average person today.
I think most people would know if they saw him on TV. They'd be able to recognize him.
You think
maybe a lot of people like under 25, but
yeah, I was gonna say under 25, no way. And I would even go a little higher than that. I would put it at probably people 35. Well, maybe some 35.
Kill me.
Yeah, well, that's why you're not on TV.
Right.
He ended up killing himself.
By the way, how's that going to go over? How's that going to go over? The whole joke about eating cats in this day and age.
Wait, he never really ate. He never saw him eat a cat. He just
right, but he always tried to do it. I mean, it don't take much to get on PETA's bad side.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of things that people need to just quit pushing the panic button on. Come on.
It doesn't take much to get anybody triggered by anything, and just look at the Jellystone.
Yeah, in this day and age, you're right about that.
Jellystone cartoon. That's a case in point. Any other news we want to bring up here?
Yeah, we do have some things.
All right.
So, Uncharted, $226 million worldwide.
Yeah. That's Tom Holland, and
right,
it's a beloved video game franchise.
Well, it goes beyond that. It's like, okay, so at this point, the number one you want to make money in the movie box office. Apparently, at this point, in a post pandemic world, Tom Holland.
Mm-hmm.
Tom Holland.
That's the money, man.
No, there's your answer because I never heard of Uncharted, but $226 million. That
$226 million.
And this
can't be wrong.
And this is right after Spider-Man, which is still destroying the box office. So there's that.
Yeah, just recently beat Titanic's domestic gross.
Yeah, that's what I
saw.
Wow. Couple other things. So apparently, you guys remember the Smallville show, the original CW WB show?
Yeah, I remember that, yeah.
Apparently, there is an animated that would pick up after season 10. They're in the process.
I don't know if it was DC or some company put out a comic based on the continuation of that series.
Yes. DC did.
Yeah, DC did. Yeah, obviously.
DC did, but I don't know that would fall into this. And basically what they're saying is it would pick up right after Smallville season 10. They have everybody except, of course, Allison Mack,
who was in prison.
Who's in prison.
Yeah.
But it sounds like everybody's involved. It's just a matter of they're waiting for the original producers to be finished up with some project that they're working on. But here's an example of where this could be interesting and unique. I guess Alfred Groh and Miles Miller are working on a project with Tim Burton, which I don't know what project they're working on. But rather than doing an entire live action, they're talking about doing animating really in reality, I think it's a great idea. That's that, and seriously, that would be, depending on how they release it, it's a solid piece for HBO Max, without question. That's an HBO Max kind of project that will get people to come watch HBO Max. Obviously, there's the 3 Spider-Men pointing at each other meme that basically they brought to life.
They do the meme. They do the thing.
Which, there's a part of me going, well, now it's just stupid.
It's not out for March 22nd is the digital release date for Spider-Man No Way Home.
Right. So there's that. Last week we talked about that there looks like there's going to be a Star Trek sequel. What's really amusing about the Star Trek sequel is that's news to the cast of Star Trek.
Yeah, that's
who apparently
that's how they found out about it.
We're not aware of it. I mean, it's still a ways off. But
obviously,
yeah.
I think they said they plan to start filming by the end of the year.
Right.
But how did that happen?
Apparently, that's news to the entire cast. So there you go. Go figure. There were some interesting pieces this week. One from the Hollywood Reporter that about studio profit report, Disney dives and Sony soars, Paramount rises, about certain pieces about where things are with the industry. They're saying that Sony was a big winner. They're saying that obviously Disney was.
Yeah, Disney. We know Disney lost money with Black Widow. They lost money with the Eternals and Shang-Chi's box office receipts. Mm-hmm. But I guess Venom 2 was somewhat profitable. I'm not sure. But there's no doubt that No Way Home is making Sony tons of money.
Just to give perspective, according to this is from, I'm trying to figure out I'm looking at like a specific, okay, so this is 2021 compared to 2020. Netflix was up 19%. What is that? Okay, that's revenue versus profit operating income. I don't know which way we want to do this. But basically the big winners on this are Netflix, Warner Brothers, Sony, believe it or not, Universal on revenue, but not so much on the profit side. Disney, surprisingly, Disney's numbers are low on this. But again, it looks like, some of these companies, like I said, it's on the Squares of the Roundtable page. You can check it out. There was also an interview, because it looks like this whole Discovery, and when I say Discovery, I'm not talking about Star Trek, the Discovery Channel, who is merging things with Warner Brothers, and they're putting that all together. Their CEO talking on an earnings call saying, quote, "We want to compete with Disney and Netflix, but we're a very different company." I don't know what that means yet. I don't think anybody's going to know what that means until this merger gets fully put together and through. We'll see where, again, it sounds like they're not looking to outspend in this. So
if it comes through, I mean, we'll see.
No, I got the impression this thing is pretty much at the point where it's any time now. This is a done deal where they're, it'll be interesting to see, because again, this now means that they're taking over HBO Max, they're taking over HBO. They're talking about, again, they're, some of the cable channels that are out there are theirs as well. There's a good number of cable channels that they own. You get the idea. So we'll see what they do in terms of, again, for us, the big questions come to, what does that mean for some of the properties that we want to see more things from, particularly in the world of comics and cartoons. I'll be curious what this does. Again, and DC Comics falls into this, just the comics themselves. It'll be interesting to see where all that falls. If you, in terms of, what happens in the world of comics, could this, there's speculation out there about, could DC end up being sold? Could it be spun off? Could they lease characters to even other companies and let them run, these characters with their own, under their own, for example, could IDW get the rights to Superman and be the one now creating Superman comics versus DC? That stuff is out there.
Well, I know IDW did do a Ninja Turtles Batman crossover.
Right, but this would be an out-and-out, okay, this company would be creating Batman comics, permanently. Or at least until the contract was over. Right, until the contract was over. Again, some of it's a guessing game, and I know you don't like to play it, but there, some of this is, this merger, that's where things are moving forward, but once this merger happens, it will be unique to see where this all goes. Ryan Reynolds apparently was talking about a new Netflix project called The Atom Project. He was doing press for it, and somebody asked him about Deadpool 3. And he says, quote, "We pretty much talk about everything, but I'll say this about that particular subject, is I'll have a batch of updates sooner rather than later, I hope. So we'll definitely get into stuff about Deadpool a little bit more clearly and definitively down the road."
Good.
So apparently,
it's just all the years of litigation between Fox and Disney and how they want to approach it.
Well, again, the other part is, too, they got to figure out where they're fitting some of these characters in, and how does how does Deadpool fit into all this?
Yeah.
We were wrong, by the way. Apparently, we're not going to get as long of a break as we thought in terms of Disney Plus content.
Yeah, March 30th is when Moon Knight drops.
Yep.
So
so apparently it's not nearly the drought we thought we were going to get, because it seemed strange. It really did. Especially, it's like, why are you releasing a Super Bowl trailer if you can't give us a date? Maybe they were just trying to they couldn't figure out a date in time. Yeah, so there's that. I guess you posted something about Henry Cavill was checking out some stuff with Warhammer.
Yeah, we knew that Henry Cavill was a big Warhammer nut. Painted miniatures and plays D&D and all that. So that was cool.
I don't know how to read this, but George Perez is home from hospice.
Good.
Which I'm going to leave it there. I hope that means a good thing, and it's not.
They posted an update, and he's sitting up, and
he looks okay.
Yeah,
I know.
We'll just say at least he's going to be in familiar surroundings. There you go.
Maybe, yeah. Well, we'll see. Again, it's the part where
because having gone through that in this situation. Yeah, anybody going to hospice, not a good thing. And then coming home from hospice, not necessarily a good thing. But I'm hoping maybe I'm wrong, and please, I hope I'm wrong.
Well, again, look, it's not an if, it's a when with George, and that's unfortunate.
Yeah.
But that's where we're at with George Perez.
Right.
And so it really just becomes.
It becomes the waiting game now.
Yeah, it's not so much. It's how
not
long
a game,
do we get a chance? Well, it's not even that. It's how much opportunities, and how many opportunities do we get to celebrate this person?
Right.
The way it seems, it does it. I kind of crossed my fingers that maybe he might be able to get to some closer by the house local conventions that might be nearby, because I know he did one. He did one. He did one in the Florida area, but I don't think.
Well,
I don't think that's gonna happen unless it's. I'll tell you now. I don't see him traveling.
Well, okay. I mean, I wouldn't put that all the way out. Okay. Case in point, like the last Monkeys tour with Michael Nesmith and Mickey Dolenz, where right after the their appearance in California and everything, and that when Michael Nesmith passed away just shortly thereafter, and now Mickey Dolenz is actually doing a concert tour now, celebrating the Monkeys. He's got a few concert dates out there now, He's the last man standing, and but according to what Mickey Dolenz said, and I quote that Michael lived, Michael lived to embrace what he created back in the 1960s, because for a long time he had separated himself from that whole situation, and he had never seen him so happy at the end of his life. We can only hope to wish that George will get that same opportunity to actually come out one more time and do some things, but at least we know he's gonna be doing what he loves, in the hopes he gets to do what he loves, until that point. I mean, Charles Schultz did his last strip, and in not even a day he passed on.
No, he died the morning his final strip. I'll
be honest, I don't see that happening with George. His arthritis in his hands is pretty bad. I mean, it's as it is. It's been a while. It's been a while since George has done. George had kind of cut back on commissions. He wasn't doing any new projects, if you know what I mean. So,
yeah. Well,
it's honestly at this point, it's just a matter of.
It's just a matter of time. It's not
even that. It's is there an opportunity? Like I said, I don't expect anybody. Maybe he'll do something privately for somebody he really, really likes. But honestly, I don't see him doing commissions. I don't see any real new projects that he's really going to create new material. The only thing I can see at this point would be if he could get out to a convention that is nearby, where he lives nearby.
Or he could just do a presentation on social media.
Or just to be honored and have people sit there and
do a Q&A on him. You could answer questions.
I don't even think it'd be that. I think it could be, ladies and gentlemen, George Perez, and here's 10 minutes of standing ovation. That's about where.
Yeah. That's what's going to happen.
That's about.
That's about right. So,
the only other piece before we get to our funsy piece, so to speak, is that apparently Patrick Stewart has now admitted that he is indeed in the Doctor Strange movie.
Aha.
Well, we heard his voice in the Super Bowl trailer,
right.
So.
Right, and he told that stuff where it's like, well, they can take my voice, blah 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 blah.
Yeah, he made it like the interview we did that immediately following. He was kind of vague about it, but now he's admitted that.
Yeah, just stop it. We especially after. I mean,
there are impersonators out there.
Right. I mean, I get it.
When you have the stature such as his, you can play coy if you want.
Well, it's the part where they still want everything to be a surprise, and they want the wow factor for people, and they don't want things spoiled. And I get it. At the same time, if you're going to use that voice in the trailer, though.
Yeah,
it seemed like a little too much. But it did its job. But now it's all like, well. That would have been a nice surprise.
Yeah,
had we found out when we saw it in the theater.
So here's the thing, and this is where I'll leave that, which is, it would have been a nice surprise. To me, what it says is, wait till you see the other surprises they got in mind.
Yeah.
That's usually, how can I say? That's usually where something like that, in my opinion, would go. Which is, if you thought
that was exciting,
right? It's the part where it's like, which of these surprises...
Well, wait, there's more.
Exactly.
If you knew that you had surprise, level 1 surprise, level 2 surprise, to level 5 surprise, I'll let level 1 surprise go. Because you don't know about level 5 surprise.
Yeah.
So there's that. Finally, apparently, this is from 2 years ago. Why am I even?
Why-
Okay, so
why
this
is
is from 2020, but it still was pretty funny. This is the headline: Try glory holes for safe sex during the coronavirus. BC CDC says. BC Health. Is this from Canada? Is this what this is?
British Columbia, yes, that would be Canada.
So BC health officials are recommending an age-old, occasionally cutting-edge tactic for sex during the corona pandemic: glory holes.
Well, you don't have to worry about. Well, you still got to worry about droplets.
Well, again.
Well,
do they wear masks?
The mask mandate along with everything else gets lifted tomorrow. So
it was today, actually. Ivan.
Today.
It was today. Oh, okay.
Yep. It was weird, like going down the stairs and like I was about to go on the sales floor and you don't have the mask on you. I was like, weird.
I did. I walked around.
What was wild is that we went to Max and Betty's. Julie and I went to Max and Betty's today. We went out to get a fireplace, and we went back to the car to get our mask, and we met up with the waitress outside. She goes, "Oh, you don't need those anymore unless you really want to use them." I'm just like, okay. I was like, yeah, they lifted up that mandate. I'm like, oh, okay. Which, I'm still gonna be wearing my mask for a little while longer, because we've had these moments before where we've dropped the mask and then next thing you know, things start spiking. So, I think I just might want to hold on with just a touch bit longer, cause I just don't want to let my guard down and everything. I mean, I'm starting to feel like a voodoo doll with all the shots I've had, but what the hell. Other than that, let's see how this works out, right?
Exactly.
So here's kind of something from AP. The Danish police seek information on an apparent escaped kangaroo.
Okay.
Apparently, there's a in southeastern Denmark. There's a kangaroo on the loose.
Is the kangaroo's name Skippy?
Don't know.
Skippy the
Nobody has reported a kangaroo missing. But yeah, that's not something you want to run into. Those damn things are strong.
My understanding is that that their hind legs, not only can they hop and everything like that, but yeah, they end up being lethal weapons.
Yeah, just like anything from the nation or the continent of Australia, it'll probably kill you.
Yeah, except for koala bears, they just shine your head.
I don't know. They got them claws and stuff.
Well, yeah. They don't got sloths in Australia, do they? They're slow.
Last time I checked, I don't think so.
We haven't any. You can't even find any sex doll stories anymore.
Well, that's because nobody's had any.
No, it used to be our staple. Yeah, we have a sex robot update, but.
Yeah, well, I have a feeling that some of that's
Well,
pandemic hit. Not so many people wanted to. Although you would think at that point people would.
Well, let's see. There was that one wrestler that got married to his sex doll.
Yeah, that was a couple of years, about a year and a half ago.
Yeah, well, there was an update where he ended up. Yeah, but there was an update where old boy decided that he had admitted that he had cheated on his sex doll.
Yeah, we did report that. Yes, on News of the Squared.
Yeah, a while ago.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm having a flashback.
So I guess that's it. We can go.
I'm trying to see if I can find anything.
we can
end on a better note than what we had.
Well, just sex robots.
Yeah, I guess, but it was one of those. It's like here I thought I had something good, and then it's like,
that's 2 years ago, huh?
It's like, why the freak do people do that?
Well, here's something something I got. Something I found on surfing through YouTube earlier today. Anyone heard about this Florida congressional candidate named Martin Hyde? Was caught last week when he was caught speeding, and he was speeding, and he was using his cell phone while driving. So the cop pulls him over, and he pulls the, do you know who I am kind of spiel. And there's like a 15 to 20 minute exchange on YouTube that I caught, and after I saw this video, I did some digging, and this guy, this guy from Sarasota County, Florida, this guy was like a public figure, and he was a rich dude, and he had funded a big part of his congressional run. But he had this incident where he was caught speeding, and he was a complete ass to the police officer, and he didn't provide. He was caught speeding, and he didn't have he was using a cell phone. He had a cell phone in his hand, and he did not provide proof of registration. And he pulled this, do you know who I am kind of spiel. And he calls for a supervisor, ends to threaten her career, and. But so and of course the video, as soon as the body cam footage went viral, he had to release a public apology the next day, but it wasn't enough, so he had to resign from his congressional run because it did too much damage to his in public image of being being a complete asshole to this police officer who's just doing her job. So. Screw you, Martin.
I do have some stuff from News of the Weird, by the way, real fast. Riders of the Bianchi Rock Cobbler, a California bike race known to be stupidly hard, expected the usual sore muscles after 80-mile off-roader on February 12th. What they did not expect, however, were the neck and back injuries suffered by being attacked by a bull during the race.
Ouch.
Here's from one of the riders. As I got 15 yards behind him, he turned and squared up, and I maybe a second to brace myself before he did everything. It was a case of mistaken and making identity from a cow to a bull. The bull, after dislodging himself from the bike, flipped the guy in the air. Two other riders were also attacked. Well, that's not nearly as funny, but it did sound funny at the moment. Let's see. There's a Bolivian city called El Elote, and
El Elote?
Or Alto, whatever.
It sounds so good.
David Chicote
goes good with Aquafina.
Alarmed his neighbors with his new decorating scheme, according to Reuters. He's a miner, hired an artist to create sculptures of long-horned skeletal devils from the cement and wood and mount them on his outside of his home.
Okay. He told Reuters
that the sculptures harken to life. The Bolivian mines centuries ago, when indigenous men were forced into digging silver, colonial masters would use devil images to scare them into working. But some neighbors fear that his decor signals satanic worship. As one of the neighbors heard about naked rituals at his house. Let's see what else we got.
Those pagans always have the best time.
A guy who broken headlight. As a result, they searched him and found he had something in his wallet. A severed figure in a cloth wrap, which appeared to be put on blood. Never mind.
I can get you a tow by 3 o'clock. You need a tow? I can get you a tow.
38-year-old man walked with his friend and his 2 children in Switzerland. Had felt an unexpected sharp pain in his lower body. Later discovered he'd been shot. The man companion heard no gunshot, saw no one with a firearm. An accident to crime was fired from afar. Oh, this is stupid.
Might have been a 22. Those are
tiny.
He got beat by a.
Well, I'm like sitting here.
Something bit me, Lieutenant Dan.
I know. Fuck it. We're done.
Okay.
I can't seem to get one that it's a good one to end on. It's just not gonna fly. Fuck it. Who cares? We're done.
Well, obviously, our audience who have stayed with us through our folly here on Squares of the Round Table, and where can they find us, Mike?
Right here on Clubhouse, Ivan. That's where they can find them. Woo! They can find us here, and thanks for everybody who stopped by for listening in and not spamming the chat room with comments about.
Apparently, it's disabled.
Oh, okay, you've disabled the chat.
Much
Okay.
like our funny news segment to the end of the show.
Yeah.
It was disabled.
It's fully disabled.
Yeah, really.
Hey.
This is what happens when, like, I think I have, like, something funny that we can end the show with, and it's like, it's 2 years old. Why are we going to do this?
Show prep, what's that?
What the?
what? Show prep? Oh, come on.
Hey, fuck you. Nobody. Hey, fuck you. I do more show prep than anybody in the show.
Oh, shit. Yeah, we can tell.
We're on Instagram and Twitter at SOTRT Podcast. We're on YouTube. Click the bell, subscribe. You know when to get new content. Of course, download the show. You're on usual podcast hosting platforms, i.e. Google, Apple, Spotify, Anchor.fm/SOTRT for those typing in the URLs in your ultra hacksaws, internet sleuth that you are. A couple other smaller podcasts like Breaker and I think Overcast, I think is one of them. But anyway, so yeah, you download your podcast, you can find us there. Follow us on our Facebook page. That's where you post our geeky articles and memes and fun stuff. And there's also Ivan's naughty Facebook page, Jive and Ivan's Vibe Tribe. He's got a groove going on over there. Jeff is everywhere at Dynamite Productions. Ivan is on Twitch at Java and Ivan. And email us at sotrtpodcast@gmail.com or just DM us here on the Twitters or the Face Space, the Zuckerberg land that we have. Are we going to go on Meta? Are we going to get like a virtual reality podcast
The
bungalow?
fuck is Meta?
Meta's like the virtual reality shit that Zuckerberg is pushing.
Oh, really now?
Yeah, the Meta thing.
Okay.
We're going to do that? Are we going to go on Meta?
Can you imagine us doing that?
We could look like the TV repairman in the Dire Straits video.
There we go. Like those microwave ovens.
Custom kitchen delivery.
I got this here 8-bit character.
What?
I got this 8-bit character. I don't know what the rest of you are looking like. I'm very boxy.
I got me a T-shirt on.
I'm naked.
That where they have no doubt. Until that time, thanks for listening.
Thanks, everybody, for listening. It's been great. We'll catch up with you next week. Same bat time, same bat channel.